All right, welcome on into another episode of DCU Daily and Also Curious, and a lot of Marvel today too. We're talking about the Fantastic Four, but we have, of course, the big thing today on the DC world is the new Metahuman Mural. That's something that's, well, God, we're gonna have a lot of fun with that, aren't we? The new Metahuman Mural is gonna, well, it's not new, but James Gunn posting about it. That's something we're gonna get into. We have to get into the spoiler-free review of Fantastic Four first steps. Of course, we're going to talk about the box office. Where does it stand in terms of, comparison to Superman, and also just for its own sake, the MCU could use the help. So we're going to talk about that. And we have some quick hits along the way. We have a couple of trailers to get into. John saw the Avatar Fire and Ash teaser trailer in theaters, so we'll get into that. And then, of course, we have some news from the Sandman series. The creator would like to potentially continue on with the show. We'll get into that and what he means by it, of course. And San Diego Comic-Con, everybody. We got some stuff from there, including James Gunn promising us a trailer for Peacemaker dropping tomorrow. But today we got some posters. So not only do we have the Metahuman Mural to talk about from the Superman movie, but we also have some posters and potentially teasing the idea of how Chris Smith gets to the DCU in Peacemaker Season 2. So we're going to get into that and so much more. And to do that, let's get this show started.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
Robert
You're
Downey.
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see Corbin.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right, welcome on in, guys. Okay, so I'm going to establish some ground rules from the beginning here. Fantastic Four First Steps. We're reviewing the movie today, but we are not talking spoilers. So it's a non-spoiler review. We're going to talk about the box office. We're going to do the Superman comparison. We're going to talk about Peacemaker at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend, James Gunn being out there to talk about that and all the things from the world of the new DCU, including the Metahuman Mural that he's going to get into, that he has put out on the internet. So we're going to talk about all of those things. We're going to break down every character that's on that mural. We have some trailers to talk about as well. And, beyond that, we'll have your questions because it is a Friday. So if you guys have any questions, then drop them in the chat. But before we do, I have to, of course, introduce my partner in crime here. We got John. Once again, how are you doing? You just got out of Fantastic Four, and that's pretty much what we're going to kick things off with. But before we even get that far, how was your day, and did you like the movie?
I'm eating ice cream right now, so I'm in a good mood. But I pretty much did a little bit of writing today, and I, saw the movie, which I won't be talking about right now. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, it was just mainly because it's like nowadays, it's like even seeing one movie is like you got to block out a whole day for it because you got to, plan, got to get to the movie, got to sit through fucking 4 years of trailers.
Well, how early did you get there? Like, did you get there like right on the showtime? Because they tell you like it's going to take them half an hour to play the movie. Like,
I got there now pretty much when the previews were starting.
Yikes! Well, I mean, no.
Be patient, figure drawing. Goddamn, bro.
We're getting there. Okay.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say hello to Enterprising. Welcome to the jungle. We got Nelson here. Nelson is watching. How are you doing, man? Figure Drawing is watching as well. I imagine that John will give us a thumbs up in regards to Fantastic Four. We will talk about that. I already mentioned Enterprising. We have Fiona in the chat, of course. So Fiona, moderator Fiona, is here. So if you guys drop in spoilers for Fantastic Four, she will kick you out. Kyle is here, of course. Hello, Kyle. Happy Gilmore 2 was okay. We're going to talk about the reviews for Happy Gilmore 2. We haven't seen it yet, but we'll talk about it briefly. And Liz will be talking about the movie on Monday. And we'll probably get into
Hopefully,
the
I will
spoilers
too.
now.
I
Yeah.
blocked out some stuff to see it tomorrow, hopefully, and then
Yeah.
hopefully again I can see Superman again on Sunday.
There you go. Well, Nico's also here saying he hasn't seen Fantastic Four, but I don't mind the spoilers. All right. Well,
Other people do, so be in mind
Yes.
for them.
We don't want to have spoilers in the chat today, so just be mindful of that, please. We'll keep an eye out. If you catch anything, we'll try to remove it. And if you guys repeatedly put spoilers in, then you might get put in a timeout. So again, just making sure for anybody who does not want to have the movie spoiled for you, the only kind of details that we're going to talk about today are things that are in the marketing for the movie, like that's out there on social media and stuff that people can just come across on their own. But anything that's within the movie that they're not revealing in trailers or posters or all the social media, the press junket stuff that they've done for the movie, anything that they're not revealing in any of those online or TV modes of advertising, we're not going to talk about. So, and there are twists and turns in the movie. We're not getting into those. Yeah, John is always just chilling and eating ice cream, enterprising. Absolutely,
always.
always.
Sometimes I have other snacks.
Fiona's like filling in for Caleb, saying howdy, honka honka. Well, we're gonna get to the honka honka, but before we get there, the very first thing today that we're gonna talk about, of course, like I mentioned at the top of the show, is the Fantastic Four first steps. I mean, Marvel, let's be honest, Marvel has been on a bit of a downturn the last few years, and people really started to notice when the Ant-Man Quantumania didn't hit and the Marvels flopped, and then obviously the Disney Plus shows, the qualities has pretty much tanked over time. So there's been a lot of reasons why people are been disenchanted with the world of the MCU from from Secret Invasion to everything else that has seemingly gone wrong since Avengers Endgame. Now they're seemingly trying to turn things around. Fantastic Four, of course, John, you went and saw Fantastic Four just a few hours ago, and so you're fresh out of the theater practically. You actually bought the Herbie popcorn bucket, which we will dive into after your review.
I'll show that later.
Yes,
but
we're gonna dive into that later. But before we do, I just wanted to kind of quickly get your thoughts on the Marvel, first family debuting in the MCU. And again, it's kind of a standalone movie because it's not even in the mainline MCU. It's its own alternate story. So, what did you think about it? And just let me know, your overall thoughts. I mean, Figure Drawing is already asking for a thumbs up, thumbs down. We'll talk about that, and then from there we'll talk about the box office for the movie, and see how it's faring, because it's got some connections to Superman in terms of the numbers that we're looking at right now. So we'll talk about both of those things. But to start out, John, what did you think about Fantastic Four First Steps? It's fourth try at it overall, from the 90s all the way to the 2000s to the 2010s to now the 2020s. Did Marvel Studios finally do the Marvel First family some justice?
I will do what Joaquin Phoenix does in Gladiator. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. I will say it is not a for sure fire thumbs up, but like a pretty good. Not a 2 thumbs up. Good-ish 1 thumb up. Overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fairly well-made, well done, and entertaining Marvel film, which is more than you can say about the last couple. But I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good. I don't think it's the second coming of Christ. I don't think the grand Marvel Prime is back. I don't think it's gonna, beat all the... I mean, it could beat all the records, but I think overall, it was a good, entertaining movie. Now, in terms of... I'm going to try and go basic with all these, so I won't spoil anything, but I thought, in terms of the acting, I thought all the acting was really good. It's just... the biggest problem for me in terms of the acting... I'm sorry, Pedro Pascal was a miscast. I'm sorry. I think there were other actors that could have pulled this off a lot better. I know, thumbs up in Gladiator, man, kill. I understand that, but it was just a generic thumbs up, man. Like, oh, you got to get on my shit. And plus, they changed it for modern audiences, technically in the media thumbs down now means kill because they changed it anyway. So I thought Pedro Pascal I think was very miscast. He did a good job with what he was given, but he just kind of comes off as kind of a bland scientist. Like, he doesn't have the ego of Reed Richards. He doesn't have like the kind of like douchebaggery that like Reed Richards has, but also the stark heroism he could have. So he kind of fails on both fronts. I mean, guys, Glenn Howerton was right there. Like, come on. William Jackson Harper, he would have been great. But I know race swapping can kind of rub people the wrong way, but both would have been awesome. But I thought all of them did a good job. I really liked Johnny Storm. I really liked Sue Storm. And I liked The Thing. I liked all of them in this movie. It just, unfortunately, The Thing isn't really given a ton to do. I like Johnny Storm's like intelligence. Like, I like what he did, like his arc throughout the movie. But not really much of an arc, but like his storyline throughout the movie. I just felt he lacked the charisma of like someone like Chris Evans. Chris Evans was like oozing charisma out of his pores, and I feel like Joseph Quinn was a little bit too stoic as Johnny at a lot of points. The action sequences were very good. I thought the ship escape scene was easily the best part of the movie. That the acting, the music, the suspense, the effects, all of it was like top tier. Like, they poured everything into that scene, and it was just easily just tremendously good. I thought the score was excellent. I thought Michael Giacchino's score absolutely just wonderful in every sort of the which way. I love the world. I thought it was charming, again, entertaining. I think the biggest problem this movie has is the editing and structure. It was downright horrible. And I don't mean like, oh, I'm not being hyperbolic here. It was horrible. It was genuinely bad. Like, bad in terms of like the structure of this. The first act or so was horribly edited, and it never like gets back up, if you know what I mean. Like, it never has like a proper like through line. It never like is like, okay, we kind of fumbled a bit, let's get back to it. It's just like it was like stumbling and falling, of like trying to like have like some sort of proper like structure, like proper like it just like it was haphazard, it was messy, it was not convoluted, but sometimes it felt convoluted, but like not totally. I would say convoluted is the wrong word, but it felt so messy, and it was just like it couldn't like get back up again. Like, I hate to draw comparisons to Superman because they're two very different movies, but at least with Superman, the editing in the first act it got back up. It got back up, and it like the rest of the movie flowed very well. This one was extremely choppy. You can tell it got a lot of cut out to get it under 2 hours, and like give us an extended cut, because this just did not work. Like, it was bad. It took me out of the movie with how bad the editing and structure was of this movie. And because of that, it felt horribly paced. Like, it felt rushed at some points. It felt slow at some points. Yeah, I feel like you never get a handle on these characters. Like, I didn't care about any characters in this movie. None of them have a proper arc. And I felt Galactus was kind of wasted a little bit. I will say Julie Gardner as Shala Ball, the Silver Surfer, was really good. And I think Ralph Ineson, in terms, despite being wasted, he does a very good job. But I feel like a lot of the characters with the movie, not from an acting standpoint, just from a writing and direction standpoint, was bad. Was very bad. But like everything else was like pretty good. Like, The two biggest problems is the editing structure. It does have some Marvel-isms. The last act was very paper thin, very generic. I think it had some of that cringy Marvel humor at points. The last gag in the movie had me like, okay, put me out of my fucking misery. Jesus Christ. But for the most part, I thought it was an entertaining movie, and I'm glad I watched it. However, unlike Superman, I don't see myself ever seeing this again. Like, maybe I'll catch it, like, in terms of in a theater. Like, movie sped perfect timing. I think, I don't know. It's tough. Like, it know your kids. Like, depends on what they like. I think Superman definitely has more fantastical, no pun intended, things about it. It definitely feels like a more fantasy driven movie, and so because of that, they might be into that more. But I also feel like this movie lacked depth when it was trying to have more depth, and that was I think I don't think he was ever I mean, you had the gag with Crypto, but like for the that was good. Like, I can't get into spoilers with Galactus because a lot of the stuff is later on in the movie, so I can't really talk about it. But I'm just gonna say Galactus felt wasted in this movie, and I really don't like some of the things they did with that character. But hey, at least he's not a cloud this time, right, guys?
Well,
anyway, so
I just, by the way, I wanted to thank Justin Geeky Guy for the super chat. Thank you again. I mean,
but overall, I thought it was good. Yeah. I recommend it. Solid movie, but not even close to Marvel's prime or greatness or peak.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where this movie always felt like it was going to be a little more, like it would take itself more seriously than like Superman did, obviously at times, like especially like the post-credit scene in Superman, right? Like, it's, by the way, again, we can talk Superman spoilers, but we can't talk Fantastic Four spoilers. So just when we're making comparisons, just keep that in mind. So when Superman says, "Gosh darn, I could be such a jerk sometimes," at the end, that post-credit scene in that movie, yeah, I don't think you really get much of that here. But from everything I've read so far, I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet. Like, Fiona and I are hoping we can go see it tomorrow. But we'll see, I mean, over the weekend, and then on Monday we'll be talking about it. I think ultimately, though, like Jordan is saying, it seems like if you go off of like the audience reaction so far, like the score is still in the 90s, I believe. Let me see if I can find it. This is the current score. The audience score is sitting at 92, and then quite frankly, I mean, even better than Superman.
That's what I'm eating, by the way. 1 week.
My only spoiler is there you go. Yeah, he's eating some Ben and Jerry's ice cream. But I mean, look, the critic score is sitting at 88% with almost 300 reviews, which is a lot higher than I think what Superman was at, had that many reviews. But we'll see. If once it gets to like around 450, then it's an even comparison. And if it is better, then you know what? That's great. That's great. And then 92% popcorn meter is fantastic. Pardon the pun. And like Fiona is saying in the chat, guys, we did hit 10,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for helping us get there. And, we love that you guys are, pitching in and being here, just literally just tuning in every day, 5 days a week. We can't do this without you guys. So thank you again for all your support. And thanks, Fiona, for pointing that out and sending in the super chat. And speaking of super chats, Justin Geeky Guy sending another one saying Marvel just revealed that Dr. Doom won't have a scarred face in Doomsday, which is so dumb and misses the point of him wearing his mask.
Yeah, but like Marvel, they don't make good decisions.
But look, here's the thing. Here's what I will say about that. By the way, thank you again for the super chat, Justin Geek. Yeah, the point there might be, not the point, but I think the reason why they might be doing that is because it's Robert Downey Jr. You don't want to disfigure RDJ's face because you cast him because he's RDJ and he looks like Tony Stark.
It's still stupid.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm not defending the decision. I'm just saying their logic might be that. We'll see. Maybe he gets scarred up during the course of Avengers Doomsday, and then we see the proper version of Doom in Avengers Secret Wars. And there's also, of course, Kevin Feige sort of implied in that recent press event that they will probably eventually recast Dr. Doom. So Maybe the eventual version of Doctor Doom we get post Secret Wars might be a more traditional comic book accurate version. So, yeah, the fourth attempt at the franchise is finally the good one. I mean, there's some irony in there somewhere, but Fantastic Four. We won't make good decisions. Yeah, well, yeah, they have been sort of missing the point in a lot of ways, Monique. Agree with you there. So, okay, John, so you gave it a thumbs up, but you did have a lot of criticisms.
Yes.
But you did point out there were a few highlights. But I do want to ask you some follow-up questions because obviously there's a lot to get into here. For example, the score right now, 88% critic score. It's pretty much the same as Thunderbolts. The 93% audience score for Thunderbolts was a bit higher, but 92% for right now for Fantastic Four isn't that far off the mark. But there are a few things in this movie that, from the trailers at least, that people were curious about. And again, without going into spoilers, did the Thing's beard work for you? That's one question I have. Like, without going into spoilers. I thought
it was funny how it was incorporated.
Okay. All right, cool. What about the humor overall? Did this movie kind of take itself too seriously, or was it your typical Marvel sort of like they balance things out?
No, I think there was a good balance of things. I think some of the humor, like most of the humor was like fine. In terms of like laugh out loud moments, Superman has this beat by far. Like I was like laughing many times throughout this. Yeah, like many times throughout them. This gave me like a couple chuckles here and there. Like it was not.
What's up, Steven?
It wasn't bad humor. It wasn't like bad Marvel humor. But it was like the last, as I said, the last gag was extraordinarily cringy. But yeah, it's mostly balanced.
Yeah.
But
and thank you again, Enterprising.
There, it's just I didn't find it funny.
But was it? So it wasn't Thor: Love and Thunder.
No.
Right?
That was that movie's a fucking war crime. This was like it was like fine. It was not great. It's fine.
Steven, by the way, hello. And then look, we're gonna be back on Monday, man. We're gonna have to talk about Peacemaker, all the whole H panel James Gunn is gonna be at tomorrow. The trailer for Peacemaker. We're gonna do a spoiler version, a full open spoiler talk for Fantastic Four. So the Monday show is gonna be fire. But hey, we're just getting started, Steven. So just take it in, man. We're here for a while longer. Don't you worry. But thank you again, Enterprising, for the super chat. Saying that Fantastic Four is regarded as a better overall. Are you comparing it to Superman or like the previous iterations? Let us know, Enterprising, what you meant by that. But let's kind of continue on to the. I don't know, John. Was there anything else that you wanted to point out? You gave it a thumbs up. Would you want to give it a rating right now? Or do you want to wait till Monday?
I'd give it a very, very, very soft 7 out of 10, maybe 6.5. Okay. Like maybe like 6.75, like right in between there, because it's like.
That's kind of like what I did with Superman at first watch. So, I mean, but I was like a 7 leaning into 8 out of 10, or at least 7.5. So I had a slightly more positive outlook on Superman.
Yeah, again, not a bad movie. I liked the movie. I enjoyed my time with the movie. Just the major thing that I didn't like was definitely a major flaw that like I couldn't look past, unfortunately.
Okay. And again, we can't spoil that just yet, so we'll get into that on Monday.
It's the structure. It's just the structure of the movie.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, if you go purely off the review, the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, but here's the thing: both movies are works of art, and works of art are objective, and they hit everybody differently. So you might love the movie, somebody else might hate it. We have seen, a small minority of movies, of critics, I should say, who didn't like Fantastic Four, but the vast majority are. 88% of 291 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes loved the movie, or at least scored it pretty high. Like if I go back over, let me see what the actual like breakdown of that looks like. Let's see if I can share that screen again. So 88%, that means there's 36 rotten, 255 fresh reviews. And then when you go to top critics, that's still a pretty solid 80%. So 45 of the 56 liked it, and then 11 did not. So that's pretty good. That's pretty gosh darn good. So the movie's doing great. Jordan asking a question though, John. What did you give Superman out of 10, just for comparison's sake?
Like maybe a 6.5, 7, somewhere around there. I'm kind of
What's for
curious
Fantastic
about.
Four, right? What did you give the same score to Superman?
Oh, Superman.
Yeah.
I would give it like a 9, but honestly, I might lean towards a 9.5 now.
Okay.
Like, we'll
but you've
see
seen
after
it multiple
13.
times, right? Exactly. So
no, I didn't like it more than Superman. No, Superman was definitely better.
there you go, Superwash. And hello, Superwash in the chat, joining in just now. John did give us a spoiler-free review for the movie. I'm going to see it tomorrow, so that's why Steve and I haven't gotten a popcorn bucket yet. But John does have a popcorn bucket. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Steven asking, are we hyped for the Spider-Man and Avengers Doomsday movies next year? I, for one, am excited. I hope that Fantastic Four builds up the excitement for me. I don't know, John, about you. Did this movie build up your excitement for those two next MCU
No, I'm not
installments
gonna watch
next year?
that shit. No, fuck that.
Oh.
The only future movies I am seeing is Spider-Man movies, because I love Spider-Man so much that I'm like, all right, I'll I'll do Marvel. That's the only thing I'll do for Marvel is
it's gonna be
Spider-Man
interesting
stuff.
because
Unless they shit the bed so badly with Brand New Day, then I'm done. But like, I'll watch Spider-Man. Like I'll watch your, and if Spider-Man Brand New Day, congratulations. If Spider-Man Brand New Day,
Bast prefers Fantastic Four. There you go.
A Spider-Man Brand New Day. If it's like the whole thing with Hulk and Punisher, if that's like true, I'm probably gonna hate it. But like I'll see. But if that's bad, then I think the only Marvel thing I'm gonna be watching is Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, because that like is actually really good. So
Boo, John says figure drawing. Well, for comparison's sake, Superman did go down to 83%. I mean, but it has a lot more reviews. It has
it's
like
fucking Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes
and
is
still,
always
look, here's
sucked.
the thing: 1 percentage point doesn't make or break a movie. Both are certified fresh, and like I said, it's relative, and then ultimately it means both movies are beloved, because when you look at the audience scores, they're both sitting in the low 90s, which is really, really good. Exactly, figure drawing. We are here for John's takes, whether they're good or bad. Look, I for one think that Kevin Feige, after seeing what they've done with Fantastic Four, look, I already know that their X-Men are going to be probably the best put together X-Men. From what we got out of all the Fox movies, there were some really good ones. But without going too far off tangent, I trust in Kevin Feige based on the plan that they've got so far, and they seem to be course correcting. So. Look, this movie, by the way, we're going to get into the box office in a minute. Those numbers tell the story.
Well, it ain't gonna, so keep dreaming, pal. But hey, dreams save us.
He said he wishes. He knows the Snyderverse is done. But anyway, I do trust the Marvel to get X-Men right. It may not be exactly what we expect. Like Fantastic Four has a few things that people didn't expect. But then again, Superman, the guy gets shot in the head. We thought we were going to get a Christopher Reeve as Superman. This Superman has a sense of arrogance to him, but also he's more steadfast. And, it's like you're getting a version that is for today's time. Now, speaking of which, John, Fantastic Four is a 1960s retro future-esque setting. I love the production design of the movie. And like Steven is asking you, John, did you eat popcorn while watching the film? So I think this is a good time. By the way, the watchers here, hello, watcher. We just did our spoiler-free review for Fantastic Four, but we will do a spoiler-full chat on Monday. But John is going to give us a review of his popcorn bucket. And tell us how much popcorn you actually managed to eat. What did you do with your popcorn?
I usually have a large popcorn. I shared it with my dad.
Yeah.
But this is I gotta back up for this, because this is a big boy right here. So I wanted the Galactus one, but it was sold out, unfortunately. But honestly, I think I went away with the better pick, because I got Herbie. Here he is. He's waving. Hello. But so essentially,
give us a breakdown. How does this Herbie thing work?
So the soda comes from the top. Like you put your drink in the top. Hang on. So the soda is in the top. That's where you put your drink. It's kind of hard to put it back, but there we go. Okay, that was easy that time. So that comes from there. And so then the front is, you open this up, just a little awkward, and that's where you put your candy. It's not a very big space though, so I don't know how you. I mean, to be fair, they're small, and maybe the bag is bigger than the amount of candy. But that's where you put your candy, and then finally, you have this back part. That's where you put your popcorn right there. And to be fair, I have fat, pudgy fingers, and even I can fit my hand down there. So we'll say it's not like a Pringles can. My fat, chubby fingers can fit into the hole. But in terms of that, it's not the only thing. They did kind of go all out for this one. Now, first, you have to point this out. I think I'm pressing the right button for this. They have this. It is a Fantastic Four projector. Can kind of see it right there. It's cute.
That's nice.
And then
I do like that.
I'm only gonna play it for a second because I don't want this to get demonetized. But like, you can even press this button and you get the Fantastic Four theme. So, and that's all we're gonna play. That's all we're gonna play. I don't even know if you heard it, but like when you press this button, you get the music from the movie. So yeah, this thing's cute. I can't wait to hang this on my shelf. I don't have any room on my shelf, but I will make room for this guy. So yeah, it's definitely more toy than popcorn bucket, but like in terms of popcorn buckets, I think it's safe to say both the Galactus one and this one definitely better than the Superman one. In terms of Fantastic Four, the only things it has over Superman is popcorn buckets and score. That's it. Everything else, Superman is the winner. But I will say I do like this thing. This thing is like, I don't know, maybe like a foot and a half tall. It's cute and it's big. I am not putting, stuff in here, but yeah, this is the whole thing. Very ridiculous, but I did like Herbie in the movie. That was another thing. I did like Herbie. I thought he was cute. I like what they did with him. But yeah, good stuff. There he is. Boop, boop. Anyway, so there he goes.
That's
let me not forget the ceremonial straw. It does come with a straw. So there you go. So you can take a sip. Yeah,
that's
there he
the
is.
most functional popcorn, vehicle container bucket. It's not even just a popcorn bucket. It's like freaking popcorn bucket, soda holder, and candy holder. I'm like, throw my M&M in there, or I don't know if you prefer Skittles or whatever.
I prefer
whatever other
cookie dough bites whenever I go to a movie.
That's a really good. You know what? I might get that when I go see the movie tomorrow.
The two I usually get if I'm not feeling that is the chocolate ones I got are cookie dough bites and Bunch of Crunch. And then if I'm feeling something fruity, I'll go with gummy clusters. Usually I have those at my theater.
I also like to get the there's like this ice cream version of it, which is like it's got chocolate casing and it's like ice cream bites essentially. Or if they have yes, or the Dippin' Dots. Sometimes they're Dippin'. I'm a Dippin' Dots.
Dippin' Dots are okay. I'm not
Dippin' Dots. I'm a Dippin'. I love Dippin' Dots from like growing up and going to like Six Flags and getting Dippin' Dots in the middle of the summer. Yeah, Eugene. By the way, it is 2.5 feet tall, and I did get your rating for Fantastic Four. You gave it a 9 out of 10, where you rated Superman 8.5 out of 10. Which again, both movies are pretty comparable, with slight preference to Fantastic Four. And we're gonna get into spoilers on Monday, so you can give us more details.
No, it's about like
why you thought.
1.5, maybe a little bit.
1.5 feet. Okay, this is not that big. 1.5 feet tall is not that big. I haven't seen Justice League action myself, Jordan, but I mean, I don't know if John has.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
But we'll keep an eye. I mean, I think that's a more recent show. I still go back on Netflix and watch Justice League Unlimited, or like go to an HBO Max and like watch the Justice League show from back in the day, the animated one. But we're here to talk about Fantastic Four right now. And speaking of Superman, John, the preview day for Fantastic Four alone actually beat Superman, because when the final numbers came in, it drew in $24.4 million in the Thursday previews alone, which, remember, for Fantastic Four, they didn't have a Tuesday early Amazon Prime screening. Superman did. So Superman, of their 22.5 million that they made overall in previews, it counted 2.5 million from Tuesday and another 20 million from Thursday. So with Fantastic Four, The 24.4 million was entirely from Thursday, so that alone is impressive. But then, as you can see there in the byline, it not only beat Superman for the previews, but it's the biggest of the year. And not only is it the biggest opening, like biggest preview day of the year that Fantastic Four got, more than Superman, it's the biggest one any Hollywood movie has had since Deadpool and Wolverine last summer. So, and thank you, Figure Drawing, for
not a
your
Marvel
compliment.
hater, but sure.
John is not a Marvel hater. He's just not been a big Marvel fan in recent times. Although, a lot of the time that he has been on the show here has coincided with his relative dislike for the MCU. But that's the thing about Fantastic Four. For a lot of people, they don't have to do homework to go see this movie. So I think that's drawing in audiences, or even people who might be considering themselves lapsed MCU fans, because they don't have to, remember the last 5 Disney Plus shows and 10 movies to understand what's going on here. You can just walk in. It's a different timeline. It's disconnected. It's largely standalone. And in that way, I think it's working for them. Now, going over to where the box office numbers are for today, going into the weekend, because again, we're doing this show on a Friday. If you guys are watching after we're live, Fantastic Four is now heading and flying potentially towards Superman's $125 million opening. How? Because they're looking at a Friday total of $56 million. That includes the $24.4 million from Thursday. So, roughly double that and a bit more to make up the full Friday number. And then, if you add up the math that they've done here in terms of what they expect from Saturday to Sunday and to Monday, 125 million. Now, what's significant about this is Superman was not looking at 125 million on its Friday. So Superman grew towards 125 million, and it came in at 125 million in the Monday actuals. On Sunday, they weren't looking at 125. It was a couple of $1 million less. So what that basically means is if they're predicting 125 million now, and if the reviews and the audience reactions continue to be as good as they are, I can easily see Fantastic Four overperform this number. So to me, look, this speaks to the idea that the Fantastic Four are part of the MCU, of course, even though they're not, this movie isn't all that connected to the rest of the MCU. But the MCU's floor is still higher than the DC floor, and then also Superman had to do a lot more damage, a lot more repair to the damage that was done to the DC brand. And whereas Fantastic Four, while Marvel hasn't been doing very well, by no means are they in a situation where they had crapped the bed, or they need to start from scratch like DC did. So, but John, what are your thoughts on this? Is this the same way that you see it?
Yeah, because we're all I'm not really sure, but yes, I did mention that before. Galactus was sold out, so I got Herbie. But honestly, I think I might prefer Herbie at this point because of how the mechanisms work. But I will say, because we were kind of debating on whether or not this would do well or not, and I gave a lot of reasons as to why. It's because it's not connected to anything, as you said. There's no homework. It's a separate world. Boom, there you go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There's that, and then you possibly have the good word of mouth from Thunderbolts, which will help this movie. And then Fantastic Four, it is more popular than Thunderbolts and Captain America. So, and it does have America's sweetheart Pedro Pascal in it, but it's they're trying to do refresh, and and they're on 15 years, and they still have more goodwill behind it than the DCEU, which was pretty much a failure from the beginning, with some positives here and there, like Wonder Woman and Aquaman in terms of critical and box office. But it's I think it should have I think I'm happy that Marvel's coming back, but the thing is, I don't think people should be like, oh yeah, Marvel's back. It's I don't know about that, because I feel like they need to do more to bring the goodwill back of the audience. And same with DC. They only have a good animated show and a good movie under their belt, and a show that a lot of people like. So yeah, I think both struggling, but it feels like they're coming back. They're not back yet, but they're coming back, and I feel like both are. They're both, good. I think here's the thing in terms of Fantastic Four. Yeah, I would have agreed with you if like maybe Doomsday was coming. Like this should have been the case if like Doomsday was coming out in like when the original uh release date, like in May of next year, was coming out. But now the fact that it got delayed and Brand New Day is coming out first, I think this is okay. Because then there's not more of a lead in. There's not more of a lead into Doomsday. So there's still one more until Doomsday. But the thing I'm happy about, the happiest is I'm glad they didn't spoil Fantastic Four with Thunderbolts, because that's what it fucking seemed like, that they were gonna like come to that world after this movie. Luckily, that's not the case, and we're good.
Again, we want
And
to stay away from spoilers, but just yeah.
but like it just I just like that, and it seems like that both of these are coming back. Like they're coming back,
Yeah.
and I'm happy for both because I want to see Marvel do well, but I just don't have a ton of faith, especially with the upcoming projects. You have the Russo brothers coming out, RDJ as Doctor Doom, Brand New Day having a bad rumored plot, so we'll see.
But again, it's rumors. It's rumors. But here's what I will say: the whole tariff situation, whether it's the politics. Internationally, we're going to talk about Fantastic Four in a second. I know with Superman, we have talked about just on yesterday's show. It's a complicated equation with why Superman isn't. There's a multitude of reasons, including the fact that China doesn't just really do well with the Hollywood movies anymore. So there's all of that. But I don't think that I think two of you guys have said, Enterprising said, and Justin Geeky Guy, Marvel should have put this out in October and November. I don't think they would have made as much money. Like I feel like the positivity of Superman and the fact that it's still the summer season works in his favor, John. What do you think?
I mean, I think they're trying to like do the whole summer blockbuster thing, and that makes sense. But I think the rapid fire succession could hurt it, could not. I don't know. Obviously we'll see, but I think Fantastic Four will probably do maybe a little bit better overseas, because it doesn't have like as much of an Americana stigma that Superman has.
Right.
It's more, I don't want to say generic, but like more like, yeah, It takes place in New York, but it's not like truth, justice, and the American way like Superman is. So,
Yeah. I mean, it's also like what the Watcher said. The Marvel has been around, like the MCU has been around for 15 years. The DC universe, the DCU just started. So, and then it's not like they were starting from like a place of a lot of good will with the audiences. Like DC had been in a crapper outside of a few particular things that happened to work out for them. So like the Batman and Joker, but like a lot of DCEU projects weren't very well received. So that does play a part. And yeah, Marvel has had its ups and downs recently, but again, people still, relatively speaking, trust the Marvel brand. And Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't that long ago technically, and I think people still, by and large, like if you give us a good movie, we'll still show up for Marvel. So that's, I think, more than anything, what this box office number, at least going into the weekend, tells me, right? And then Swag Fan saying, I had no doubt that a Fantastic Four would do well. It has the MCU name and doesn't have to repair a failed universe. Exactly. That's exactly what we've been talking about. I couldn't agree with you guys more on that. Nico saying, is Superman more rewatchable though? I know this came up before, and I think, John, for you at least, Superman is a much more rewatchable movie. Like you are not going to be watching Fantastic Four again. But again, that's a subjective, opinion. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't tell you if Fantastic Four is more rewatchable. So I'll have to, reserve my judgment until I see the movie. If anybody else in the chat has seen it, you tell us. Like, do you think Superman is more rewatchable than Fantastic Four? Because in its third weekend, like if I had to predict what its box office would be, given it made like 57 some odd million last week, I'd imagine it's going to probably drop another 40-50%. So it's likely going to be somewhere around 30 million. I think that's probably a good estimate. I don't know if they really go through that here. This is an article that's mostly focused on on Fantastic Four. They did say that the social media, traction on Fantastic Four is actually higher than Superman. It's the first one to cross like 1 billion, in the metrics that they were using, which without context doesn't mean anything, but still. No, I mean, the Grace Randolph saying it did literally destroy Superman with the release date. They did not. Superman has made a lot of its money and will continue to do so. Superman being good help Superman, not Fantastic Four being bad help Superman. It's like if Superman was bad, then Fantastic Four was bad too. People won't just be like, oh, I'm gonna go watch Superman because I guess it's not Fantastic Four. So that's a bit of a false logic there. So yeah, and again, I think Kevin Feige, like you're saying, Eugene, is retweaking Marvel and trying to get it back to its glory days. And look, Movie Spud said Superman was more rewatchable for him. C Black in the chat, how are you doing? Saying Fantastic Four was an excellent movie. Can we get on a hot streak with the MCU with Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man 4, Doomsday, Secret Wars, and X-Men? And you know what? Kevin Feige did recently say that starting with pretty much Fantastic Four, there's like a 6-movie arc that they're working on that's going to take us through the next up to 7 years and beyond, where it's all connected again in a way that just didn't feel like it recently with the MCU. So, yeah. Is Kong Keenan a reference to the mural, John? Or
No. He's just saying the new Superman from China.
Oh, right.
I think
Okay. Got it.
But I don't think I think Hollywood just needs to fucking stop catering to China at this point, because I think China is just fucking done with Hollywood.
But they are literally
They're done.
So
stop.
They just had new movies come out that are local movies that are beating all the records of any Hollywood movie. So like they just want to do their own thing, which is fine. Like that's fine. But a lot of you guys in the chat saying Superman is more rewatchable. It's also kind of hard to tell because a lot of people have only seen Fantastic Four once right now. So, and Superman has been around longer. So I'm guessing most of us will lean towards Superman, but we'll see. You know, the opinions may change over time. But as of right now, Fantastic Four is looking at pretty much the same opening weekend number, 125 million, is what Superman did. And his preview day was even better than Superman, the biggest of the year, the biggest since Deadpool and Wolverine. Pacerline is in the chat saying he just saw Fantastic Four and needs to see it again, but for now I'm going with Superman, just more action. But Galactus was awesome in stature. Thank you for that, Pacerline, and thank you for not spoiling anything. We are keeping it spoiler-free today. Yeah, I mean, Kevin Davis, both Superman and Fantastic Four will at least be in theaters for a couple of months. Yeah, that's fair, C-Block. China is largely just interested in those big spectacle movies that John likes to call just garbage. So like Avatar will make money there, Zootopia probably will, Mission Impossible did, F1 is making money there. So I mean, the Watcher I think has seen Superman like 6 or 7 times, so he's probably got all of us beat on that. But okay, I did want to look through some other stuff just to kind of put things in context for where Fantastic Four is at the box office. So domestically, but like I said, it's kind of following the same path as Superman. Internationally, it's also in a similar situation, John, because 27 million in the early offshore play is pretty solid. It kicked off early in like up to 44 markets abroad. It had #1 opening days across Europe, Latin America, and Asia Pacific. And quite frankly, right now it's running, 57% ahead of Captain America 4, 32% over Superman, 9% above Thunderbolts in like-for-like markets. So while they're not giving us like an exact number, they did tell us that based on the early projections, $90 to $100 million is still on the table for its international debut, and that number could go up. Now, if it goes up, then Fantastic Four could have a bigger opening weekend worldwide than Superman. If it stays around where it is, that Superman and Fantastic Four will kind of come in, with similar numbers. But even then, it's not like one is blowing the other one out of the water. So again, look, they say comparison is the enemy of, good fun, or like just, it's kind of like a Marvel versus DC thing. It's a bit of it's not a zero-sum end game here. Like we don't need a zero-sum game. We don't need for one to be successful for the other, to be failing. Like Kevin Feige himself said, he's glad that DC is getting better. So yeah, and then for like the Watcher saying he would love to go see Superman again immediately. Fantastic Four, he can wait to see it. He's not in a hurry. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna keep getting opinions and people talking about what they thought of the movie. And the big thing is, John, we are eating good right now as comic book fans, because we got 2 good superhero movies, one from DC and one from Marvel right now out there. So yeah. Good point, Steven. Pacerland has seen the movie 5 times, Superman, but I need to see the IMAX viewing of Superman next. I don't know if you can find it in IMAX anymore. I personally saw F1 in IMAX. I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet, but we'll see where things are at. Maybe I'll try to I'll see if I can find it on IMAX or Dolby tomorrow for when I see Fantastic Four. And yeah, Kevin, good point. DC needed the win with Superman. I think DC needed it more than even Marvel did, because Marvel would have bounced back with Doomsday even, but with Fantastic Four being good, that helps it even more. Now, John, given that these numbers are doing as well as they are, in some ways better than Superman for Fantastic Four, well, in terms of how it compares to other Fantastic Four movies, this movie, this fourth attempt at the
They
Marvel
don't
First
even
Family,
get the fucking name. It's Fant Four Stick, not F for Nintastic.
Who cares? Who cares? But like the point is, this Fantastic Four is gonna make more money in its opening weekend alone than the entire theatrical run of the 2015 Fantastic Four, which starred, of course, Miles Teller, Kate Mara, and was it Ben? Where am I forgetting his name?
Jamie
Who played
Bell.
the Thing? Jamie Bell. Never mind. I was thinking of Ben Grimm, but yeah, the character name Jamie Bell, and who played Michael B. Jordan, of course, the most popular actor of them all, the Human Torch. So that movie didn't even make enough money to beat this movie's opening weekend, which goes to show you again, Marvel finally getting it right.
Damn, where'd you figure that out? Crazy.
But John, speaking of the popularity of this movie, Comic-Con is happening this weekend. And so from
Honestly,
that perspective,
looks better than the one in the movie.
Marvel's kind of got their, they planned this out well to a certain degree, because with Comic-Con happening, people are in the mood for comic book news. You got a new Fantastic Four movie out. This I saw just this morning. Galactus, a greater than life-size Galactus cosplayer walking around. It's like one of those Transformers at Universal that talks to you. I don't know if this guy has any humor or jokes on him, but anyway, because that Optimus Prime robot is pretty savage. This is something the list sent us, by the way. The whole thing of like there's actually a milk brand, Trumu, with a fantastic berry flavor, and the joke here is they milked Pedro Daddy for it, which is hilarious. But I don't know if I'm in a rush to drink raspberry flavored milk. But John, the whole cast of the movie, at least the main leads, they were all in New York City yesterday on the launch day of the movie. Just they had this whole special presentation with one of the sets from the film on the Baxter Building, and these guys came and surprised the fans.
Hey.
They had a Herbie moving about, which was nice.
Hey, there he is. There he is. I'm gonna try and put him like maybe like right
that
here.
cosplay was awesome, Monique. I don't know if any of you guys are making it out to San Diego Comic-Con, but if you do, let me know. I can't do milk if it's not flavored, so I'm on the same boat with you, Movie Spud, more or less. But hey, speaking of the Human Torch, John, Joseph Quinn recently said that RDJ has been an amazing leader on the set of Avengers Doomsday. He's so generous, he's hilarious, he's a remarkable actor. There's no shock as to why he is where he is. I don't know if Joseph Quinn has been around long enough to know RDJ once upon a time was never associated with such words, but are you surprised by these comments now? Because RDJ is basically the elder statesman of the universe now.
I think that it's nice to see. Even though I don't agree with the casting, I don't really like it that much. I mean, as I've said, but hopefully he brings his A game. Like if it's genuinely that, like if this is like, if people I trust say it's like a 10 out of 10 movie, I'll probably go see it. But for right now, it's not grabbing me, and the Russo brothers does not give me any faith in this movie whatsoever. So
yeah. Yep. By the way, we have some new names in the chat. You got Raveen Rashmika in the chat telling us like what they feel about James Gunn's writing for Superman. I don't know if James Gunn played it safe in Superman.
I mean, it's not as out there as some of his other work, but like, I feel like Superman. The fact he showed restraint shows like where he is as a filmmaker right now and why he did what he did. Like it shows like that he understands the character, and he shows he's like, I'm not going to do most of my typical stuff in here. Like, yeah, there weren't as many needle drops. It wasn't as grotesque. It wasn't as like, it didn't have as like his out there brand of humor as much. So like, I think it showed like it does have some like Gunn isms in there, but I think I think it showed I think it showed like how like the maturity of the filmmaker. I think.
Yeah. We've also Chuck in the chat giving us his ratings for all the superhero movies this year, giving pretty much 8.5 to Fantastic Four, 8.5 to Thunderbolts, 7 out of 10 to Superman, and then 4 out of 10 to Captain America 4. I think those are some pretty good ratings, Chuck, and a lot of people will probably agree with that. Not everybody. John, who cares about 10 out of 10? You watch Fantastic Four and it entertains you. I just want to be entertained. I like a lot of bad movies. Yeah, I go to watch the Beekeeper movies and I have fun, but I'm not expecting it to win Oscars. So
I was entertained by it. I just wish it could have been better.
Yeah. It doesn't mean, John hated the movie. John gave it a 7 out of 10, guys. That's a positive score. That's a very positive score. I saw this on social media again from the blue carpet event. They're doing this whole pick a card, any card. These cards, by the way, are really cool. I want to get my hands on
I like
cards. Yeah.
Wait, Johnny, say that again.
They were just effusive in praise of each other on the blue carpet. Keeping on going here, though, John, we had both Silver Surfers on the blue carpet the other day in the LA premiere of the movie. I wanted to ask you, do you think Doug Jones would be up for coming back? Because now that Star Trek Discovery is done, he's not playing Saru on there. I don't know if he's got another big project right now. Do you think we can see Doug Jones Silver Surfer make a return in the upcoming Avengers Doomsday or Secret War? Maybe
I would like to see it. I would like to see it, but I think Doug Jones is just a little bit too old now. He's in his 60s, I think, now, and I just don't think he has I'm not saying he doesn't have it in him anymore. I'm sure, being a contortionist, he keeps his body in shape.
Dude, but he just played Saru for like 5 seasons on Discovery, so
I mean, that's still prosthetics. It's not like,
Yeah, but he was walking on those stilted like heels, like for
all right, fair enough.
I'm just saying.
So possibly, but I think it just comes down to the fact: would I like to see Doug Jones, proper as Norrin Rad? Yeah, I think that would be good. But I mean, one, you'd have to also get Lawrence Fishburne back because he voiced the character, and two, I do want to see another actor try Norrin Rad because I think. We've already got him try someone new, which is what they did here. They just did the extreme of doing the Shala Ball version rather than the Norrin Rad version. And I will say now I said this before to myself, like when I was looking at because I saw this specific picture of the two of them, I'm like, now I know why I don't like the look of the Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four as much. The eyes look weird. The eyes look weird. I think in the other version, it's like more like his entire eye is silver. Hers is like she has normal eyes, but like gray eyes. Looks weird. That's a good
point. I never noticed that until just now. Okay, that's a good comparison.
I mean, the slicked. Okay. I still don't. I'm not a huge fan of the slicked back hair, but I will say I think it's also the eyes make it a little bit weird looking. But again, I think Julie Gardner did. I didn't have the thing is I don't know the Shallow Ball version. To be fair, I don't really know Silver Surfer as much as a character. I don't know Fantastic Four as much as characters. So in terms of what little I know, and I've seen Julie Gardner in other things, she's can either be really bad, like in Wolfman. That's not her fault. It's the script and direction that was the fault of that movie. But I've also seen her in good stuff, and I think she's a very good actor. So I'm like, okay, I'm just thinking, what do I expect with this? A good performance, and that's what I got. I got a really good performance from Gardner. I think she did a very, very good job in that role, and I'm glad, we got what we got.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things a lot of people were worried about, and clearly she killed it. Like she did a great job, and I'm just glad to see Doug Jones still, being recognized by Marvel. I just hope he shows up in one of the new Avengers movies because I want to see that, Silver Surfer cross paths with the new one. And they're not the same character, obviously, so that'll be great. But hey, Pedro Pascal, much like, we saw the cast of Superman posting behind the scenes set photos that still are celebrating Superman coming out. Well, Pedro Pascal posted some photos from the set, or the many sets of Fantastic Four. So here we go. We got some photos of them in the astronaut costumes. We've got them eating in between scenes, posing on the director's chairs. You can see like Vanessa Kirby in the background there, and then Joseph Quinn in the costume. This looks like the motion capture, rigs that they had for both Silver Surfer and the Thing, which they probably largely replaced entirely. And you have some, the other, actors in the background of the movie, all over the sets, which look so good. This is probably one of the best production designed movies from Marvel, like as far as just the production design in general. I don't think most Marvel movies get this good. Black Panther was the last one to me that was this good in production design. You got Natasha Lyonne, of course, or Leone on the set. Matt Shackman with some of the Fantastic Four's Baxter Building sets. Of course, you look at how they built all this. So much of it was a digital set extension, and then yeah, go ahead. You were gonna say.
Yeah, I will say it is funny though, just kind of a offbeat thing that kind of works.
Yeah.
But I will say it's really funny that Peyton Reed pitched a 1960s retrofuturism Fantastic Four movie in 2001, and they didn't go with that. Yet he went on to direct Ant-Man, and then they did the 1960s retrofuturism thing, and he's like, guys, I was right fucking here. Like, why didn't you come to me? And I'm like, that would have been interesting because he wanted to do that, and his ideas were really good. But and who he had in mind for the cast was also really good. So I don't know. I just feel kind of bad, even though his Ant-Man movies aren't very good. I just find it funny that he pitched this like 25 years ago, and it never happened. They went with the mediocre 2005 movie, and then we eventually got this, and he's like, I was 24 years too fucking early.
Well, it looks like Pedro Lane, for example, didn't like the portrayal of Pedro Pascal because he's just Pedro'd out at this point.
I don't think Pedro'd out. I just think he was miscast.
Could be. By the way, quick super chat from C Black. Thank you for the super chat. We really appreciate it. The hot take from C Black saying MCU X-Men will make more than Avengers, especially if they're similar in terms of quality to the X-Men 97. Do you agree with that? Because the X-Men are so iconic. Can they make more than, especially like Doomsday and Secret Wars? They might make $2 billion a piece if things are going well.
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, it's gonna be
different age now, like post COVID, all that shit. I don't.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be. Things have to really click together because I feel like if Marvel's on a really big win streak leading into it and X-Men absolutely kills it, which remember, Kevin Feige was an associate producer on those X-Men movies back in the day. That man was, like you say, John, was sneaking comic books onto Bryan Singer's sets for the X-Men. So he knows a thing or two. There's a reason why Kevin Feige hasn't left Marvel yet, because he finally gets to play with the X-Men characters. So it's possible. I just wouldn't give it a chance, like in terms of like an overwhelming chance that X-Men do better, but that's why you call it a hot take, because it's still more likely that the Avengers will be the higher grossing movies, but it's a non-zero chance. A lot of things have to go right for the X-Men in Marvel to do that, for the MCU, at least the MCU edition. But speaking of the MCU edition, John, it looks like we finally got the MCU edition of the Incredibles. But and actually, you know what, we weren't even done with those photos. Before we get to this, I want to set it up. There's a couple of photos here. By the way, quick shout out. They had an RKO Palace. I don't know if that's a reference to the old RKO Pictures, the studio that was, owned by MGM and then killed, and now it's back as a brand. Or no, I think it's dead right now. But remember RKO Pictures back in the studio
it's
system?
Definitely a reference to RKO.
Yeah, I was like, that's kind of cool. Okay. And then there was one other thing here. Good cast photo. You actually even have some friends, and this is all friends and family. You got Pedro Pascal's sister there, parents, and then Vanessa Kirby there. And then when you go forward a little bit more, this photo, John, shows them in the very classic Fantastic Four costume. Now, we can't go into spoilers as to what part of the movie we see these in, but they're in the movie. So somebody went ahead and decided, you know what? What if the Incredibles were actually the Incredible Four? And then what if the Fantastic Four for The Incredibles. What do you think, John? Is this a good
Cute.
mashup right here?
Very cute.
Because I mean, we are getting an Incredibles 3, but we will eventually, if it's good enough, maybe get an Incredibles 4. That would be kind of meta. And I just love how well all of this fits. Somebody did an amazing job. Clearly, they just recolored a lot of it and then put the logo on top, but still, it just works. It just works. Yeah. Hopefully, they will have a reference in the next Incredibles movies for Fantastic Four. It's already written, but they can always drop something in there. They do look cool in the classic suits, don't they, though? Yeah, I agree with you, Watcher. And again, not going to spoilers, so we can't really get into much more in terms of the context, but yeah, these suits look nice. They look nice. We do, after all, pick up the movie 4 years into them already being Fantastic Four, so there's that, which is not a spoiler. That's something that's already known. But hey, John, that's all we got for Fantastic Four right now. We will continue to follow, of course, the movie. On Monday, we're doing a full spoiler review on Fantastic Four, so save your spoiler chat questions and comments and theories and ratings for Monday. We're not done yet. And to answer your question, Steven, we did not see the Battlefield game trailer, but I'll keep an eye out for that. I'll check it out over the weekend, and maybe we'll talk about it on Monday. I'm personally not a big Battlefield fan myself, but you know what, John? The next thing we got to talk about, we're gonna move on to the other movie, not just some movies, but the other movie that's out today. This one is not in a movie theater, but it is out on Netflix. Happy Gilmore 2 released on Netflix. Did you guys see it? Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the live chat what you thought about Happy Gilmore 2, because according to a lot of the reviews, they're saying, look, this is full of fan service nostalgia, which the trailers kind of hinted at, but it's a fun movie. It's not a good movie in terms of being like, you know, an Oscar caliber. It's nothing like that, but it's like a Jason Statham-like movie where you go in, you have fun, you have your laughs, and if you're a fan of Happy Gilmore from 30-odd years ago, you are gonna love this movie. And yes, Watcher, we will get into the mural talk, so we're gonna get there. Don't you worry. The spot in the chat saying he's gonna watch the movie tomorrow. John, did you get it? You didn't get a chance to see it yet, right? Happy Gilmore?
No, yeah, I'm gonna be watching it tomorrow. I had Fantastic Four today, and then I had pretty much immediately after we had the show. I'm saving it for tomorrow.
Yeah, Eugene also saying he has to check it out. Watcher saying Uncle Watcher got some more context to add the mural. Yes. Okay, Uncle Watcher, we're going to get there. Don't you worry. That's our main event of the show. That's the big story of the day on the DC side. Okay. Monique watched K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix. Oh, Washington Black looks nice. I want to check that out. Good shout.
I've heard K-pop Demon Hunters is good, but I refuse to watch it out of spite.
Well, I just wanted to quickly look at the Rotten Tomatoes score for Happy Gilmore 2. 61% ain't bad. I mean, it's only 38 reviews. It might drop under 60%, and then it won't be, you know, fresh anymore. But 74% from the audiences is also pretty good. Although, again, you can't verify these ratings because it's a streaming movie, so you can't buy tickets that Fandango can verify for you on Rotten Tomatoes. But that's not as bad. That's not as bad as I thought it would be, right? Like,
yeah,
I've seen like
two
the
of my
first
friends
minute of
watched
the
it.
movie.
One loved it, one hated it.
Yeah.
So obviously we'll see what I think tomorrow. I like the first half of Gilmore. I think Adam Sandler can be funny. It's just he hasn't been like funny in years. But I think he just needs to stick to like dramas because that's what he's good at.
You know what? I'm okay with the fact that the Rotten Tomatoes score is where it is, and like Eugene said, they're not that consequential. Because Adam Sandler movies aren't meant to be like masterpieces. You can enjoy the movie, and you know everybody else can hate it, or the critics can hate it, but it will still be one of your favorite movies. Most Adam Sandler movies that people love don't have very high Rotten Tomato scores. But let us know in the comments down below what you thought about, you know, the new sequel to another 30-year-old franchise, Happy Gilmore 2. Did you like the new Adam Sandler film? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you're watching live, if you're watching after the fact, hit the like button. We do appreciate it, guys. Now we're going to get into some trailer reactions. So, John, let's first talk about the Avatar Fire and Ash trailer, which did leak online, the third Avatar movie. James Cameron, apparently, to the Hollywood Reporter, they loved it. They're saying, you know, it's back with a Fury stunner of a movie. James Cameron has done it again. It could be another $1 billion for him. Fans are loving the trailer. What did you think about it? Now, you didn't see it online. You saw it play before Fantastic Four, which is where most people are meant to be seeing it. It's a
Mhm.
teaser trailer, so it does. It's kind of, but it has more than the Odyssey teaser trailer because the Odyssey, they're still filming the movie. What did you think about Avatar: Fire and Ash, the teaser
Yeah.
trailer that played ahead of Fantastic Four?
I thought it looks pretty good. Like the thing is, the first movie, I remember I loved it. Like I thought it was the greatest thing ever when it first came out, and then I since kind of soured on it because it's just like it's Ferngully in space. And then the second movie I watched, and I thought it was fine. It's something like again, like the fucking visuals are absolutely stunning, but the story and plot fucking blow. There's like nothing there, and it felt like a retread. It like wasn't terribly interesting. None of the characters were memorable. Like it just like as everyone says, it's not a very memorable movie. It looks like it could be good, but you know, I'm still on the fence of like, does it genuinely look good or is it just because the trailer looks good? But I hope it's good. James Cameron's pulling the Avatar thing towards Avatar Last Airbender. Oh, now they're bringing the Fire Tribe into this. It's like, okay. But I kind of like the vibe of like, oh, how are they being brought into this, and all this other shit. So it's like, all right, we'll see. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna reach 2 billion like the other ones, but I think it'll definitely hit a billion. It's definitely gonna hit a billion, but I don't think it's gonna hit 2 billion. Maybe like 1.5 or something like that. So
Yeah. I mean, look, as far as the Avatar movies go, you're not there for the story. Like they're visual spectacles, and they're really well
Mhm.
made, and that's ultimately what you're there for. So the effects are on point, and they keep making it better. Like the water in these movies looks as real as anything. I was telling Fiona the other day, or just
Mhm.
earlier tonight, that one of the reasons, but one of the big reasons why this Avatar, the third one, Fire and Ash, got delayed by like a year or so, was because they didn't have enough. They needed more time to render the movie. Like the studios, the VFX houses that are working the Meta, one of the ones in New Zealand, they work on a lot of the VFX for these movies. They didn't have enough room on their render servers in New Zealand, so they had to actually rent out render servers from Amazon Web Services to render this movie in Australia. Like it's just like taking time to render the dang film, which I understand with how good this shit looks for something that's actually animated. And James Cameron, I mean, the man is known for innovating as much as he can each and every time out. So I think that's a big part of it. But I mean, look, like you said, John, this movie probably is gonna make another $1 billion easily. I mean, the first two have made 2 billion. They're two of the highest grossing movies of all time, both in the top five. James Cameron owns 3 out of the top 5. There's no other director that has 3 in the top 10. So that's insane. It goes to show you the man does not miss. But I do appreciate that. I think the second movie was a bit of a drop from the first in terms of the narrative just felt like they were just retreading the same story of the first Avatar movie. I hope, like you said, John, that in this one they're kind of going in a new direction. Even though it feels like this is the Avatar: The Last Airbender all over again, because the next thing they're going to do is go to the Wind Tribe or something. But anyway, um, we did have another trailer, John, to dive into. This one I saw right before the show, and I was just like, it's too funny to not cover. So I made you watch it. So you did. And what did you think about Ice Cube and Eva Longoria's new interpretation of the classic War of the Worlds story that's set for an Amazon Prime Video release in July, 30th, which is literally this upcoming week? You saw the trailer, Ice Cube, War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So, in regards to this, I think it's safe to say, in regards to Amazon's output in movies, that they are still the reigning champions of gutter trash. This this looks like fucking dog shit. This looks bad. Like it's an inventive premise, but don't attach War of the Worlds to it. Like I could see, like an alien invader movie from this angle, but like this just isn't War of the Worlds. The only thing that's like Oh, they feed on data? What the fuck are you talking about? The only thing it has in common is like the tripod aliens. That's, what War of the
Yeah.
Worlds servers. And don't get me wrong, the design is cool, but it's just like literally none of this has anything to do with War of the Worlds. It's not War of the Worlds. It is a, iPad or like laptop movie. I don't know what type of movie I like. Sometimes they can be good, like the searching and missing movies. Those are good. I know Unfriended
Same.
sucks, but like it's an inventive idea, but it's just like don't
God.
attach War of the Worlds to it. And also, why Ice Cube? Why Eva Longoria? Why? Why? Just why? Like
The VFX
what?
looks so bad. This looks like early days Netflix bad
The
VFX. Remember when Netflix used to make
Asylum
terrible?
version looks better than this. The
God.
Asylum version from 2005 looks better than this.
Dude, you know
These
the only
3
thing I need
movies
Ice Cube?
came out
The
in
only
June of 2005. When the Spielberg one came out, the Asylum one came out, and then I think one other version came out. And all 3 of these look better
Yikes.
than this movie does. This looks like it was made on a budget of like $2,000 during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't know.
what?
I think the found footage genre is kind of dead at this point. Like they, bury it, leave it alone. Like God. Yeah,
Carnosaur. Yes. Carnosaur. Nice reference there. Carnosaur looks
But
better.
yeah, like I mean, Cloverfield movies. Yeah, I think you meant to say Cloverfield Pacer, but yeah, your data is deadly. Again, it's trying to jump on it. There have been like 5 different interpretations of War of the Worlds recent times. I feel like the one on Epix or MGM Plus was so fucking terrible. I hate what it. I've never hate watched a show until that War of the Worlds. It was so bad.
I heard the BBC miniseries was really bad too.
I was expecting it to be good because it was a period piece. And I think there might be one other one somewhere along the way. I don't know if Steven Spielberg is doing another one because like he's got a UFO movie coming out next year. But his, I think, is my favorite. The one with Tom Cruise, like Nelson was talking about.
I've seen I haven't seen the Tom Cruise one. I've heard okay things about it. I watched the original 1953 version, and I was very impressed by it.
I mean, a lot of you guys saying the same thing I said. I'm like, I did not know this thing actually existed until today. I mean, and yeah, you do appreciate movies like The Arrival more, watching stuff like this.
But yeah, I remember watching the 50s version, and even though that didn't have tripod because that would have been very hard to animate back in the 1953, but like still great movie.
All I will say is I don't need my Ice Cube to be looking at a computer screen and emoting. All I need him to do is to be telling you sons of bitches are going to medical school. That's what I want. Give me a 23 freaking Jump Street movie with Ice Cube back as the lead. That movie just, I want a sequel to that. I don't want a War of the Worlds. Nobody's asking for that from Ice Cube. But the last thing here, John, this is a Comic-Con special. So at San Diego Comic-Con, they did give us a new look at Predator, Killer of Killers, an epilogue scene in the movie, which is set to debut on a Hulu. It shows Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch returning. Now, of course, this is an animated movie, so it's not like they need to get Arnold like de-aged or back in the flesh, but they just gave us a description of that here. Of course, the Predator franchise filmmaker Dan Trachtenberg said that the new cut of the animated Hulu movie is debuting tonight. And well, I don't know if you got a chance to read through all of this, but there was a description here. We don't actually see the clip. What did you think about this?
It's definitely interesting because that's what was teased at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert for Killer of Killers, but they teased Naru, who was Amber Midthunder's character at the end of Prey. They had her in like one of these like coffin things. Because the whole thing was like the guy from World War II and samurai times, they escaped, but the chick who was the Viking let them escape, and she had to get like taken away and blah blah blah, and because she was still stuck on the Predator homeworld, so she gets put in like this cryptogenic coffin where she's like frozen, and then she gets put with like all these other coffins, and they go past one, and Naru from Prey was in there. So they're like, wait, does that mean Dutch and Matt Harrigan were kidnapped too? And this confirms that Dutch and Matt Harrigan were kidnapped after they defeated the Predator, which kind of gives more of a bitter ending to both of those movies, which kind of blows, but like, I mean, guys, with Patrick Schwarzenegger, he's on the rise. Might as well,
Yeah.
can
By
do
the way,
it.
Dr. Balls in the chat saying Happy Gilmore 2 was awesome. Thank you, Dr. Balls.
Thank you, Johnny Sins, for that one.
The photos, man. The photo.
I got a trailer for Badlands before Fantastic Four, and I'm like, oh, and it's the new trailer too. I'm like, oh, yes, give me more.
By the way, Steven given us some info that I didn't go over earlier in the Fantastic Four segment. We do have a cinema score for the movie. It's A-, which is pretty similar to Superman. I forget if Superman was it an A for Superman? I think it was
also A-.
Was it A-? Okay, so they're both kind of the same. Yeah, they're both the A-, which is great. That's great for both movies to be, kind of on the same. Again, I mean, it's not like one movie is significantly better than the other. They're both kind of on the same level. Most people like them kind of to similar degrees. If one works for you, and chances are the other one will too. So, the new Fantastic Four film showed us the importance, as some geeky guy would say, of family, John. And that's, ultimately what Fantastic Four is all about.
Brother never told you never threaten a man's family?
Yep. And both Superman and Fantastic Four are a great A- score on Cinema Score. So, hell yeah. Yep. There you go. And you got it. Just some geeky guy. There's actually more of them than you probably know or realize. But anyway, Patrick could play Nightwing or a Robin. Those are great ideas, Jordan. I think when we eventually get around to doing that fan casting, we'll probably talk about it. But John, we do now have to move on to talking about not just the news, but we got to talk about the quick hits. So let me see if I can find those quick hits. I do have them around here somewhere. There we go. Why don't you hit the music for us, and I'll bring it in. And we're going to dive into the quicker part of the news segment, which we just aptly call the quick hits. So let's get into those, shall we? The very first quick hit that we have to get into is, Alison Brie has shared a Community movie update. Were you a fan of Community, John?
Never watched
it. There's a movie coming.
Never watched it.
So, of course, here, let me see if I can zoom into the article a little bit. Oops, too much. There was apparently a pitch for an X-rated version of this movie, but her update was that there is no update. I would say is paused due to a number of factors. The entire cast is still enthusiastically on board for the movie. And then as far as like the X-rated version, she added, something I would love to see is for Annie is full sex with Jeff Winger. I think an X-rated Community movie would consummate that. Will they, won't they? So if you guys are fans of the show, would you even want to see that? I mean, Alison Brie's coming up in that, what's the Master of the Universe movie? She's in that movie. So, and then she's in together with her husband, Dave Franco. Sorry.
The preferable Franco.
So, anyway, moving on to the next quick hit. There's no
Franco
update.
that got high on shrooms in the studio.
Yeah. Yep. Which was hilarious, by the way. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson pays a thoughtful tribute to Hulk Hogan, the greatest of all time. He shared a story on Instagram about how growing up, he went to Madison Square Garden, Hulk Hogan kind of gave him, his like famous, headband, and it was the last one that he had at the time. And he was like, I won't be able to make more. He didn't tell him that, but somebody else told, a young Dwayne Johnson before he even was rocking Maivia. And then later on, he gave the Hulkster the same headband back, and the Hulkster was like, I'll make sure to get more of these made and get you one that you can keep next time. And then a few years later, they came across each other again. Well, still a young Dwayne Johnson, and the leader of the Hulkamaniacs, Hulk Hogan, gave him a headband to keep. And of course, then you had the famous WrestleMania 18 match. So, I mean, they had a huge tribute for Hulk Hogan at SmackDown today. Hulk Hogan was never a perfect person. I mean, more controversial than anything else in recent times. But with his passing, I mean, he's a Mount Rushmore level character,
will say
especially
this.
for wrestling.
I'm shocked that The Rock didn't write the greatest of all time and then just posted it like a picture of himself. And then,
the hierarchy of the WWE universe is about to change.
Yeah,
he's like the final boss these days. Anyway, moving on to the next thing, John. Resident Alien has been canceled after 4 seasons. Are you surprised? Because they did switch the show from Sci-Fi to the USA.
No, it's not surprising. 3. Yeah, I mean, usually when they have to change channels, and not in a streaming sense, usually that can like for instance, like Cobra Kai or The Expanse or something like that. That can when that gets resurrected through streaming, that can be, that usually keeps it off. But when you're changing cable networks, that's usually a sign of death. That's, I'm still going to be watching for the 4th season. I haven't started it, but I do still love the show. And I remember you saying before we started the show that since they knew the writing was on the wall, that I think it ends properly. So obviously we'll see. They'll probably try to tie up everything. But it's probably a good run. They'll probably end it properly, and
Yeah. I mean, they do have something that kind of will serve as, I guess, a pseudo finale to the show on August 8th. And I don't know, maybe they can do some editing to make it feel even more of a complete show. So, with that in mind, we move on to the next thing, John. Sidekicks, an animated series, is in the works for this from Century creator Paul Jenkins. A superhero satire will be produced by Solipest Films. This is something you might be interested in, or no? Have you ever even heard of this?
Probably not, but obviously we do. Things can change.
Yeah, Pacerland, yes. I mean, that was one of the better. It wasn't one of the best wrestling matches, but Hogan versus Rock was iconic. Anyway, moving on to the next thing. And now we get into some social media stuff and talking about Superman. I mean, I still keep coming across these. Apparently, they did this comparison between Hershey and Cadbury, where Nicholas Hoult, being British, he was, of course, in favor of Cadbury chocolate, and then you had the Hershey on the side there. They were Corn Sweat, of course, being a good old American from Philadelphia. What I will say about this comparison, John, they were comparing milk chocolate Cadbury with cookies and cream Hershey, which to me is
not a fair fucking comparison. That's
just
two
totally
different forms of chocolate. That's not fair. You're comparing white chocolate to milk chocolate. That's not fair. And also, Cadbury's overrated as fuck. It's got real chocolate. Bull fucking shit, Francine. It's not even categorized as chocolate in some countries because there's so much fucking milk in it. Don't even fucking catch me with that shit. All right? Fuck Cadbury's. Overrated.
You could definitely taste the milk in Cadbury a lot more. I think depending on the day, I might prefer Hershey's over Cadbury, but I do love Cadbury.
I will say I do love cookies and cream Hershey's. It's really good in small doses because it is white chocolate, and that can be a lot. But just compare shit properly, okay? And then meanwhile, the Swiss are like fucking amateurs.
Swiss chocolate is the best. That is the best.
Yeah.
You guys let us know what you prefer, Cadbury or Hershey's.
Anyway, Cadbury's, fuck Cadbury's. It's not even like the chocolate and it's like okay chocolate. It's just the thing I hate is, like the fucking pompous bullshittery of people being like, oh my god, it's so much better. It's like, look my nuts, it's chocolate. Calm down. Anyway.
By the way, Brendan Routh dressing up as Spider-Man over at one of the San Diego Comic-Con, the fandom party that they put together. What did you think about this? I mean, he's not playing Spider-Man anytime soon, but this was kind of fun.
For a sec, I thought the guy at the microphone was like Daniel Radcliffe dressed up as Weird Al Yankovic.
I thought the same. I literally thought the same. Yep.
Yeah.
I love a lot of British candy. I grew up. I spent 3 wonderful years growing up in Manchester, so I do like Cadbury. This was kind of funny, John. Apparently, a lot of people just kind of showed up outside on 6th Avenue in New York City, watching and I guess even eating lunch as they were filming The Devil Wears Prada in one of the buildings nearby. I mean, would you
Stanley
stop?
Tucci and all that? And there was another one where I saw where Meryl Streep saw them, and she goes to all of the fans looking at her. So that was a very cute kind of thing.
Yeah, this is nice. It's kind of fun. I mean, this does happen a lot in New York because it's one of the production hubs. So not necessarily for like a movie. I mean, not every big movie shoots in New York, but still, it's kind of nice. Kind of nice to see. Final Destination: Bloodlines,
Cool,
John,
don't
a movie
care.
that surprised
Don't care.
everybody.
Don't care. Don't
Okay,
care.
the news is it's coming to streaming on August 1st. All right,
Cool,
just wanted
great,
to put
don't
that
care.
out there. Well, did you see this though, John? One of the Savannah Banana players showed up on CNN, and dude, it's one of their afternoon shows, CNN News Central. It like runs for several hours, and they were doing a segment on this, and the guy basically had to do like a backflip live on air, and he full face plants
Right.
himself. And then he had to get
Honestly,
stitches on
it's
his lip.
funny. It's pretty funny.
It's kind of hilarious. He did kind of explain in a social media post what happened, and he was like, "Guys, I do this all the time." Like he literally went on ESPN's NFL Countdown and did it perfectly, but then I think he just slipped when he was on the show because like he was like, "I lost track of my bearings," and then just face planted. So. Yep, that's the clip. John, Love Island USA season 7
Don't
has
care.
finished as Peacock's
Don't care.
biggest
Do
original
not
series.
fucking care. Do not care. Oh my god, so much of not caring. So much of not caring. Move the fuck on.
Paramount. Of course, we know Skydance and Paramount's merger is about to go through. We actually have a timeline for that as well, but they're estimating that they will lay off potentially, up to, if you do the math based on they cut 2,000 jobs in the past year and to save about $500 million. The new Paramount executive, Jeff Shell, has been aiming for a $2 billion savings, which is 4 times as much as what they did last year. So if you go off the math, they could be laying off as many as 6,000 people after this merger, which not surprising. That's usually what happens.
That's usually what happens when mergers, takeovers, acquisitions. That usually happens. It's
so
sad,
terrible.
but,
People losing their job. I'm glad I don't work for Paramount right now, but one of the co-CEOs of Paramount did confirm the deal is closing, by August 7th. So that's when they expect this to happen. They did laud their employees during the process, which again, they've let go of a lot of people. A lot more will be let go, but we'll keep an eye on this story. We haven't talked about South Park on today's show because I think it would get too political, but I have been following that story.
I caught a clip of that, and that was very satisfying.
It was fun. It was fun to watch. Regardless of which side of the aisle you land on, I don't know. Anyway, The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping cast Iris Apatow and Edwin Writing as production has begun. It looks like these two rounded out the cast. John, are you excited to see them play Proserpina and Vitus? Is that how you say it? They're 2 Capital University students assigned to the prep team for the District 12 tributes. Of course, this movie already has Glenn Close, Kieran Culkin, Elle Fanning, Ray Fiennes, Kevin Harrison Jr., Maya Hawke, Jesse Plemons, Billy Porter, Lily Taylor, oh my god, Joseph Zada, Whitney Peake, McKenna Grace, Ben Wang, among others. Holy shit. I'm surprised they haven't cast Pedro Pascal in it yet. But anyway, moving on to the next thing. Rick and Morty, John, has got a new spinoff, President Curtis, and it's got a green light over at Adult Swim. Keith David, the longtime voice actor of the Commander-in-Chief for the main show, surprised fans at Comic-Con with the news of the upcoming animated series. Are you interested in this one?
Look, I love Keith David as much as the next guy. Why the fuck are we getting this shit? Who gives a fuck about this guy? I understand, giving Keith David a show, cool, great, but, who cares? Who still gives a fuck about Rick and Morty, let alone a character nobody gave a shit about is getting a spinoff? Really? What is it going to be? Diet V? Fucking stupid.
All good. Well, I think that's all the quickest we got. That's all we got. That's all she wrote. So with that, we're going to hit a stop on that music, shall we? Let us know in the comments down below what you thought about all the quick hits, the news, Fantastic Four. What was your rating for it? Remember to keep it spoiler-free for now. But of course, we're going to get into a lot more, on Monday with a full spoiler conversation on Fantastic Four. What did you think about Happy Gilmore? I know one of you guys popped in here and you said it was awesome. So let us know. But until then, until we get back, to the Fantastic Four talk, we have to get into all the DC talk, because now it's time for the main event of the show, what you guys are here for. So let's dive into it, because of course, as James Gunn would say, we are blessed from the beginning.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka.
All right, welcome on into another episode of DCU Daily, and thank you so much, everybody, for watching live. Hit the like button if you're here, and we are 10,000 subscribers strong, so we're moving on up, and we thank you for all of your viewing of the show, because if you guys are not watching, then we wouldn't be here doing this. And so again, I just wanted to quickly appreciate you guys off the top, but as always, we've got a lot to get into on today's DCU Daily. We've got some Sandman news. We're going to get into a little bit of Superman. We did do a lot of Superman talk yesterday. Today we have some stuff like the digital Blu-ray release for the movie. It's coming out a little bit sooner than I expected on digital and Blu-ray. There's also some letterbox news regarding Superman. And then, of course, the main story of the day is James Gunn shared the murals, the Metahuman murals from the movie. And there's a lot of characters in it, and we're going to break down what every single one of them is or could be and talk about them. So I know you guys can't wait for that. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But before we do, John, what are you most excited to talk about on DC?
Oh, that mural. Can't wait to talk about that dang mural. Let's go. Obviously, that's a ways away, but still excited to talk about that.
All right. Okay. So without further ado, let's dive into it, shall we? Because we do have, like I said, a lot to talk about. The very first thing we do have to get into is, of course, John, I don't know if you have it up. I think you do have it up. There we go. So Sandman creator. He's, of course, we were talking about Alan Heinberg, the man who made the show, not the comics. He, has said that if you watch Sandman season 2 all the way to the end, season 2 kind of lays the groundwork for a possible return to the universe in the future. Here's what he said. He said, "I hope the interest in the show will outlive whatever impact the allegations are having on the viewing public regarding, of course, the comics creator Neil Gaiman's downfall." And then he said, Alan said that his desire is to go on writing Sandman forever. If he had, of course, Stranger Things or Wednesday numbers, which I don't think Sandman does, which is partly why it's being canceled or it's ending after season 2. So, John, you read through this. What are your thoughts? Do you think people would actually want to go back to the Sandman universe once, I guess, Neil Gaiman's allegations are not so recent? But also, do you think Netflix is going to want to make the investment, considering the amount of people who are watching this don't seem to add up to like Stranger Things or Wednesday? What are your thoughts on this?
I think, it's entirely possible that we could return to the universe, but I think, I think it might be a good long while before this shit dies down, because literally every project in the pipeline that would have adapted his works were just canceled outright. So I think it would be a good 5-10 years before any Neil Gaiman projects even come close to being made, if ever again. So, it's unlikely.
Yeah. I think the same is going to be true, at least not in the foreseeable future, I think is the best way to put it. But it's good that Alan, obviously, the creator and the showrunner of Sandman, the TV show, Alan Heinberg loves doing what he does. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out and see. Maybe in 10 years time, you might get something else. But until then, yeah, it's also really expensive. So I don't know if Netflix is going to give it another shot, but maybe, DC Studios 10 years from now, they might introduce the Sandman into the new DCU. I know it's not DC technically, it's Vertigo, but I bet you if they thought it could work,
they own it.
Yeah,
So
they'll bring it in, like if they had to or if they wanted to. But anyway, moving on to the next thing, John. Let's dive into a David Denman interview where he's talking about, jumping into the world of the DCU. Of course, David Denman, you might remember him from the US version of The Office. He, of course, is taking part in the upcoming Peacemaker Season 2. And then he did talk about Lanterns as well as David Cornsweat's Superman. John, you had a chance to kind of go through this interview. What were some of the highlights here from David Denman, who's set to be a part of the new cinematic universe?
I think he was again, it was like kind of very general. I'll kind of just slowly scroll for all the
Yeah.
people. But
Can
I
you zoom in a
think
little bit more?
it's hard to tell, like
Yeah.
in terms of zooming, because it looks like good on my end, but it could be bad on your end. So I
No,
apologize.
we can see it. We can see it. Yeah.
So I mean, they kind of like go into like different sort of things. I mean, Brightburn was mentioned. That's the thing that keeps getting mentioned.
Yeah, he's been working with James for like 20 years. Like, speaking of Brightburn, I mean, Brightburn being a more recent one, but I don't know what Watcher is talking about.
I forgot. You know what? Straight up, I forgot Freddie Stroma, and I was wondering this before. I forgot he was in 13 hours. I didn't even realize he was in 13 hours. The only thing I knew him from was the douchebag Quidditch guy from fucking Harry Potter, like when he was like in like Half-Blood Prince or Order of the Phoenix for like 2 seconds. But yeah, so it's kind of just him talking like very generally about, kind of the show. I don't think he talks about like specifics. Rebel Ridge, obviously that was another thing because he was in that, and Aaron Pierre was in that, and Aaron Pierre is now the new Jon Stewart. So the fact, the Rebel Ridge reunion a little bit, so that's pretty good.
I mean, my big question for you, John, do we know who he's playing in the new Peacemaker show? Because that wasn't ever officially announced, was it? Like, do we know who he's playing?
I don't, and no, he doesn't say it in this interview. I think he's just like being tight-lipped about it because we don't see him in any trailers. We don't see him in anything like major in regards to this. So I think it's just mainly just like
he's a Trekkie. He loves Star Trek.
He's mainly just kind of talking about like very general stuff. Like obviously, there's a reason James Gunn is called Gunn. He has a gun to your head so you don't fucking leak shit. So
which we all knew. I mean, we all knew that. But I mean, look, you guys tell us in the comments, do you think David Denman's playing a character that's gonna maybe be part of Argus potentially, and he can return in like Lanterns and other shows beyond that, maybe even get into the movies? Because he's another one of those actors that's been working with James Gunn for a very long time. So I'd love to see him, beyond just Peacemaker, but it just depends on who he is playing. So in the show. But hey, let's keep on going here. Now we got to dive into some Superman news. Of course, we've been talking about Superman seemingly endlessly, but for good reason, because it's an amazing movie and it's kicked off successfully a brand new DC universe. So with that in mind, John, we have some updates today. Superman apparently has become the fastest movie to reach Letterboxd's 1 million watched club. You are a bigger Letterboxd fan than I am. What does this mean to you in terms of the significance of Superman getting it there faster than any other movie ever has before?
It's like, well, the thing is, in terms of, I don't know if they're talking about 1 million users or 1 million.
Well, 1 million
entries.
Views.
Okay.
Is that what that? Yeah.
So, but it's from the famous world premiere in history to do so. So I think it means 1 million users, which is saying a lot because Letterboxd is not like a huge. I mean, it's getting bigger and bigger.
It is.
Their footprint is getting bigger. Like, I mean, you have them going to red carpets now, and people talk about their top 4. That's like kind of like a thing now. So they're getting more media profile. But I think this is really interesting, and it goes to show that how many people like really want to go out and watch this, and people who are really into this idea of this character and what James Gunn offered. I think it means a lot, even to even to the hoity-toity cinephiles that use Letterboxd.
By the way, Smacky, we appreciate the fandom because you should absolutely go see it a third time and let us know what you think about it, because a lot of people are hopefully going to be seeing it this weekend, doing a double feature. We know Angelica is doing like a double feature on Monday. She's on yesterday's show. She mentioned she's going to do a triple feature. She's doing Jurassic World, Superman, and Fantastic Four. So, and Liz is doing like a quintuple feature on Monday. She's seeing like 5 new movies, which is insane. But anyway, yeah, Superman still has a lot of positive going for it. Enterprising. It's not ending anytime soon, including if you want to own a copy of Superman, John, we now know when they're going to put it out on digital, and of course a lot of us would like to get a physical copy of it. So if you scroll over to the next one, we do have some dates now for when Superman is coming out on digital. It's going to be August 26th, and then on 4K and Blu-ray on September 23rd, which, like the first comment there says, why so soon? It kills all the box office and momentum. My question to you, John, for a movie that is trying to make a lot of money, is Warner Brothers bringing it out on digital and especially Blu-ray way too soon? The movie only released in like the early half of July. Like, it's not even going to be in theaters for 2 full months when it comes out on digital, and then even in September 23rd, it's still not a full like 90-day, or is it 90-day? July, August? No, it's not even a full 90-day release window. Like, it's kind of common these days for movies to not get that, but I don't know. I feel like David Zaslav and James Gunn and Peter Safran would know better. Like, what do you think is this too early? I guess
here's the thing. You want to know where August 26th falls exactly on? The 45-day window, which is what theaters are pushing for now. So it seems like they're going for the 45-day window. Because, it was 30 for a while because that's what it was in like COVID times. And now they're trying to open it to the 45-day window. So it seems like, because it's exactly like if you do like 30 days would be July 11th to August 11th. And then another 15 days would be August 26th. So it seems like they're going for the 45-day window. And then around another like 30 days would be around 75, I think, like 72 72 days. So it seems like, I don't think it's like a lack of faith or anything like that. I think it's just they want people to see this as much as possible. And I think there are a lot of people that are like, you know what? I still don't trust DC. I still don't want to see it in theaters. I don't want to waste that money. So they're like, okay, catch it on streaming sooner, which now maybe it's disbelief. I don't think so. I think it's just, again, this is the movie to bring goodwill back to DC. And I know a lot of people that are like, I'll catch it on streaming. Not in like any sort of bad way, because there are people that are like, I don't have a theater close to me. I don't have the money to go to the theater, let alone pay tickets and snacks for a theater. I want to see the movie, but I just can't because of this, that, and the other thing. So they're like, okay, clearly a lot of people want to see this movie, but streaming is in the world now, and we have to kind of like equate that into the bigger algorithm of the equation and whatnot. So it's like, okay, there are a lot of people that still want to see this movie, but just can't or won't. And so let's give them an olive branch and like 45 days, then give it to them on stream.
Yeah, I
don't like it. Look, that deep sigh is what I'm feeling right now. Like, I'm feeling the same thing because it's like I want this to do well in a theater, but yeah, it kind of sucks a little bit.
I just look. I feel like Warner Brothers, like Disney, does this with some of their bigger movies. Warner Brothers should have learned this lesson a while ago. That give it 60 days. Like Easy was saying, don't cannibalize your own audience, especially if the movie's still making a good amount of money. I mean, it's kind of hard to push back physical releases because there's a lot of logistics that go into it. But yeah, I still do wish they do push it back. But I mean, look, The Watcher and MTG have both seen it like 6-7 times. Like, I think have you both seen it 7 times? Holy shit! But I mean, and there's not a lot of movies coming out, John. We talked about August is slow, and then when you get into September, even there's not a ton of big franchises. So, but I do understand people don't want to spend money right now. But the movie is going to be playing on a Tuesday, Wednesday. You can get 50% off your ticket at AMC.
And you know what? To be fair, just because it's being released on digital doesn't mean they're taking it away from theaters. Remember,
they're not, but I remember Minecraft, it died on the
cannibalization of it.
Yeah,
but at the same time, look at Deadpool and Wolverine. That although it was in theaters for a lot longer, but the digital came out in October and it didn't leave theaters until like mid to late November. So, maybe there is the idea of people who still want to see it in the theater can, but the people that can't or don't want to, they'll
Yeah,
see it
but
on streaming.
it's that thing of if people could, they will not. If the shortest route to the reward, like people are gonna watch it on streaming. If it's available on streaming, they're now being conditioned to just sit at home and watch it or get the Blu-ray. I'm just saying. I know you agree, but we're on the same page on this. That
No,
there will
I
be
mean, I
some
agree with you, but I'm
cannibalization.
just trying to think of
So,
like the positives. I'm trying to remain hopeful.
I
Superman
know,
wants me to
I
be
know,
hopeful, Dan. I'm trying to be
I know.
hopeful.
I know. Well, but I mean, look, a lot of the fans who are going to see it 5-6 times have already done it, like the Watcher and M2G. But I feel like in a year where Minecraft just missed the $1 billion mark because they didn't leave it in theaters exclusively for a few weeks more, it's going to make 50. If it makes an extra 30, 10 million more because they leave it in theaters for another 2 weeks before going to digital Blu-ray, why not? But I mean, I get it. They will still be making money off of it because if you buy it on digital or Blu-ray, still money in Warner Brothers and DC Studios pockets. But still, having said that, yeah, look, like MTG is making a point for me. Those subscriptions cost as much as a month as one ticket. I'd give up any streaming subscription before AMC A-List. Yeah, I mean, the AMC A-List is really good, but that's the thing. Every time you go see a movie with AMC A-List, it's on the business side still treated as you buying like one normal ticket. So DC Studios still ends up getting more money from that than you just watching it on streaming and paying whatever, like $10-15 a month or even whichever version of HBO Max you have. But yeah, a Swag fan, I think that's a good point there to kind of like, stop talking about this for now. Superman did the job at the box office. It's going to have crossed 500 million. It's going to have earned most of its money by then. So it's not like they're leaving a lot of crumbs on the table, but what they are leaving behind, hopefully they'll make up in, like, the Watcher saying, merch sales, digital sales, rentals, DVD sales, although DVDs not so much. But I know a lot of these people in the chat here, for example, they will be buying it on Steelbook. I mean, the Watcher's already pre-ordered it. So yeah, I just wish we were going back to an era where movies stayed in theaters for at least like 2 to 3 months before they were available anywhere else, because that makes for movies' ability to make more money. Top Gun Maverick being a great example of that. But I digress, John. I digress. Let's get back to the positivity. Yeah, well, good point, Watcher. We have I came across this just now, but this is from a week ago, John. Mark Hamill took his entire family to see Superman a week ago, and he said he loved every moment of it. Brilliant cast, perfect script, so much fun. Many kudos to James Gunn for getting it right. Also, there was a fan club for Crypto the Super Pup. If there is one, he's saying, "Can I join, John?" He's not the first one. We talked about Kevin Bacon and Kyra Sedgwick going to see it yesterday. And Mark Hamill, he was like, "Man, I'm just going to take my entire family to go
What's
see it."
real is family.
Yeah. Are you surprised that he was happy with the movie, John, and Mark Hamill and his, people?
Yes. I think that's great. And as this comment says, David Cornsweet is somewhere geeking out right now.
Because he's a huge Star Wars nerd. Yeah.
Nathan Fillion also being like, I love that families are going and sharing experience together, which is also very nice to see. And James Gunn also commenting, thanks so much, Mark. Praying
you know what? If Mark Hamill wanted to be in the DCU, I'm sure James Gunn could find a spot for him because, yeah. They would just become best friends.
Yeah, Luke and Clark, space babies turned humble farm boys turned heroes of hope, flying to epic John Williams music. That is true. That is true. Boom. There we go. There we go.
Yep, that's true, MTG, by the way. You've got it right. Exactly. The nationwide average. Which does change over time, but yes, that is how the math works on the A-List and other memberships like Regal Unlimited and such. John, Steven, it's okay, man. We're only going to be... it's already like past midnight on the East Coast, and we're still here, so don't worry. We'll be back with you in no time, and we're not going anywhere for a little while longer anyway. I would love to see David Cornsweet in the world of Star Wars. I would love to see Mark Hamill play something live action in the new DCU. We'll see. That felt real in my lungs. Thank you, Watcher. Okay, let's keep on going. We have some more Superman stuff here. Now just getting into more of the positivity side. Maria Gabriela de Faria.
Look at those
Yeah.
pants.
Yep. He's a tall dude, and Maria Gabriela de Faria is a tall lady. So she posted a bunch of photos from behind the scenes of they were basically doing baseball practice in between takes in the field
The Guardians
the Cleveland
Stadium.
Guardians Stadium where the Meteors play in the movie, the Metropolis Meteors. Of course, Maria is from is she Brazilian, or where's she from originally? Because I know she's not.
Remember.
David, of course, is American, the first cinematic American Superman in a long time. But I don't know if Maria is. Oh, she's Venezuelan. There you go.
Venezuela. You were close.
Yeah.
Still South American, so that's good.
South America. Well, from Latin America. But anyway, so it was kind of fun to see. Again, they're just having fun on set, and you see these, all over social media. Like the actors clearly enjoyed their time on set. So, and the engineer will likely be back, probably in a future movie. So I would love to see where they take that character, because she didn't have a ton to do in this movie, and what she did have to do, she made the most of it. So I did enjoy her performance. Regal Unlimited is actually also another great example. Although I went to see Superman at Regal and they played the wrong movie and then made us wait for 90 minutes. So I don't know if I'm going back to a Regal anytime soon. Who knows? But I have AMC A-List and I have the Cinemark movie rewards one. I might get Regal. I don't have a Regal near me where I live now, but I might be moving soon. So
David, is there something in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
I think he's just happy to see you. Yeah, she'll be.
Yeah, the bulge is on.
Wait, I meant like he's. Never mind. Okay, let's keep on going before I have any more slip ups.
Before we get demonetized, anyway.
Yeah, before we get demonetized. Yeah. We're not gonna play the audio, but you can clearly tell this is pixel art with the song. Well, I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am. This was great. I love watching this. Every time I listen to this comes across my feed all the time. The song now, and yeah, I just love how James Gunn can turn these obscure tracks into just chart toppers all over again. And then of course the punk rockers themselves got in on the act, John. If you go to the next one, the teddy bears posted about it themselves, saying, look, being kind is the new punk rock. And James Gunn hitting that with the like.
Ooh, look at this.
That commitment. That's commitment right there. This was fun. I love the ending of the movie, and the more you watch it, the more you enjoy the ending of the movie. So yeah. Yeah, I mean
that shot. Yeah. Like, so I remember somebody like posted like an animation of it, of like this scene specifically, and I'm like, fuck, I need to see the movie again. And I'm like, I need to watch it again and again. God damn it.
It is one of the better shots in the movie. It's certainly for a movie that I think the cinematography for me was not always the high point. This shot does go really hard. So agree with you 100%, John. But yeah, this is fun. The positivity continues, guys. The Enterprise, you got nothing to worry about, man, my friend. Superman is doing well, and even this weekend, I think it's going to be number 2. But number 2 after being number 1 for 2 weeks in a row, second only to Fantastic Four, which is doing just as good as Superman did in this opening weekend, is a good place to be. So, all right. Well, that's all the Superman stuff we have for now. But John, we have to get into some Peacemaker talk, don't we? Because, of course, Peacemaker. He's going to have a hell of a time this weekend. Season 2 is set to come out soon. They just put out some new posters, I would say, and then you've got some hype from James Gunn for all the stuff that's going to be happening over at Comic-Con, because while DC doesn't have a huge Hall H DC Studios presentation, James Gunn, John Cena and the rest of the cast of Peacemaker are going to be in Hall H on Saturday. I believe the time is 3:30 p.m. local time, so like Pacific time for us on the East Coast. John and I is going to be 6:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern time. So in the evening or late afternoon, if you're like Steven on the West Coast, they're going to be answering questions. They're going to be talking Peacemaker season 2. John, this, by the way, is, of course, we get a closer look at the cameo Peacemaker had in Superman, which was hilarious, but it's a blink in and you miss it. Do you remember, for a second I thought James Gunn might have been the one interviewing him, because I was like, wait, is that him? Was James Gunn have a cameo in the movie? But it wasn't him. But it was funny, and I just love seeing more of these behind the scenes looks, and I wonder how
Also,
directly
yeah, this
people
guy I know has been
to
in like a
Superman.
million trillion
Yeah.
different things, but I just never know the name. I know he's been in so much stuff though.
Podcast is cool, Pacerline. I'm actually listening to the first episode, and they do go into a lot of details. We went over that yesterday. Go on Spotify, check it out. It's out now, and James Gunn is going to keep doing it. I mean, week to week, and even when the show is airing, and they're going to do reviews of the episodes and what they thought about it. Obviously, what James Gunn did behind the scenes. So, yeah, peace for peace's sake, or peace's sake.
Eat peace, bitch.
Freedom. That's still like the most like what kind of what the fuck moment from Peacemaker season 1 was the freedom scene in episode 1. I'm like, oh my god, did not know that's where that was gonna go. Right off the top. But anyway, John, let's keep going here because we do have to look at the 2 posters they put out. And what's interesting about this is James Gunn pointing out if he can't find peace here, maybe he'll find it somewhere else. So does this lend itself again? You look at the photo of Peacemaker and from the cameo in Superman, then you look at this one. Obviously, Peacemaker has multiple different helmets. If you go back to the one on TV, or like the one from the cameo in Superman where he's on TV, you could see the eagles pointing downward, and he's wearing
it's
like
a dove. It's a dove.
The dove. The dove's pointing downward, and the helmet he's got is from season 1 of Peacemaker. But then here, that's a different Peacemaker. So again, I mean, where are they going with this? Is this the DCEU connection? Is this a different parallel universe?
What he's confirmed is that it's not what we initially thought it was DCEU Peacemaker going to DCU Peacemaker. I think it's just DCU Peacemaker because it logistically wouldn't make sense. Like, I mean, to be fair, it kind of doesn't make sense because Peacemaker technically like was in charge of like a war crime operation in Corto Maltese, so I don't know why he would be like A-okay to be on the news giving an interview, but like there. I mean, to be fair, he did help stop an alien invasion, so there is that. But I think yeah, it's a variant. It's just the DC now, it's just DCU. Like pretty much everything from the first season is canon except relatively the Justice League, although he only mentioned Aquaman. I think I haven't finished the thing yet, but maybe he mentions others, but I know he mentioned specifically Aquaman. But it's pretty much season 1, everything except the Justice League is canon, and that's pretty much it. So this is not like the Peacemaker we see in the trailer and this Peacemaker on the poster, not like the DCU Peacemaker. Our Peacemaker kills him and no, it's just like this is just like a better world, a more quote unquote hopeful world. But I think it's just like a tongue in cheek reference to like the DCU being brighter than the DCEU. I think it's like just like kind of like a satirical kind of thing rather than like an actual like real like jumping of EU to U. So that's yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, hey, I guess that works. But we do have actually another poster, don't we? We have a second poster, and this one here is from HBO Max, which is more of the full cast, but the tagline is the same. Is there a world where? Oh, actually, it's different. It's in what world are they the heroes? Which I guess we'll find out. And again, this time around, the Peacemaker that's on the mural is the one that we know and are familiar with, not the other one that we were talking about. So, well, it looks nice. They're telling us that the trailer drops tomorrow, likely probably going to be showcased at the Hall H panel. John, what are you expecting from the first official trailer of Peacemaker season 2? Is it going to be the one that they were supposedly playing ahead of Superman? Do you think?
Maybe. I think that I could definitely see that.
Okay. But yeah, what are your expectations? Like, anything new in addition to what we saw?
I just hope it's better because the first season was kind of mid, so I just hope it's just better and more engaging than what we got before.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, N2G, I haven't seen Fantastic Four, but I'm glad that you think I'm gonna like it. I trust your judgment, so I'll let y'all know on Monday what I think about it. But yeah, dude, I can't wait to see this. Like Enterprising, Jordan. It's season 1 was one of the better things that DC has ever done on television. So season 2, and I do appreciate that they're doing the tongue-in-cheek thing with the DCEU, but I think he also mentioned, James Gunn, on the Peacemaker podcast, that they are going to more directly address the whole DCEU connection. But again, what we're seeing here is more of a an alternate reality that's sort of a stand-in for a DCEU rather than actual DCEU timeline. So yeah. Yep. The first season was hilarious. I enjoyed it. Lead easy. I don't know, John, you didn't like Peacemaker season 1 as much?
It was okay. It's the
Yeah.
weakest thing I've ever seen from James Gunn.
It is weekly episodes, but as far as the total number of episodes, was it 10?
It was
Or
8.
was it 8? 8 episodes. Okay. Got it. Well, there you go. There's going to be 8 episodes. We don't have titles yet, but we do know it premieres August 21st. So then there'll be August 28th, September 4th, 11th, September 18th, 25th, October 2nd, and the finale is on October 9th. So between that and whenever we get Lanterns next year, we might only have like a few months gap. And then, of course, New York Comic Con happens in that gap. So we're going to be eating good for DC. And then again, next summer, Supergirl comes out. So, but we're going to find out a lot tomorrow, John, because on that panel, James Gunn is probably going to be doing, he said he's going to do a bit of a Q&A and answer questions for everything DC like he did at New York Comic Con. So we're going to see how things work out. But yeah, the Watcher, like you're saying, the alternate reality in Peacemaker Season 2 will probably be a stand-in for the DCEU, but not be the actual DCEU, which would make sense because that Peacemaker doesn't quite look the same as the one that we are familiar with. So, all right. Well, with that, though, John, I believe we now have to get into the big story of the day, which is, of course, Superman. They had this mural in Superman, actually 2 sets of murals at the Hall of Justice, and they portrayed basically the history of the metahumans in the DCU, which, again, we're talking spoilers. In the history of the DCU, metahumans have been around for like 300 years. So let's get into that, shall we, John? Because James Gunn, after, given into popular demand, he said, you asked for it, you got it. Here's the full mural honoring the history of metahumans in the DCU, adorning the Hall of Justice and Superman. Before we even dive into all the characters, because basically what we're going to do is we're going to look at this. I'm sure you guys have come across this already. And we're going to... The last guy is... Spoiler alert, the last guy is, Sean Gunn playing Maxwell Lord. But does that imply Maxwell Lord is also a metahuman? But anyway, we're going to talk about each of the characters and who they might be, who they are in the history of DC. Are they even DC characters to begin with? Or, are they meant to be sort of stand-ins for like symbolic reasons? But before we get there, John, I want to ask you something. Do you think that all of these characters being in this mural are meant to be taken literally, as in its actual canon that these exist? Like, can James Gunn be held? Do you think he's going to be held accountable? Like, or should we hold him accountable to like, oh yes, this character did exist some point in the history of the DCU, therefore you have to address that down the road?
I think so. I do genuinely believe that that all of these characters have existed at one point, because like, why would they be here? Why would they like show up because like on this mural if they didn't exist? Why would it just be like random, like, oh yeah, this thing, draw it? Like, sure, why not? Just like, I don't know, that doesn't feel like it makes a whole lot of sense to me. And I think all these characters did exist at some point. Now, does that mean they're all gonna get fucking projects? Probably not, but like, it's nice to know that they like maybe existed at one point. So
okay, all right, well, to me the weird part about that is then James Gunn, has he thought this far ahead, right? Or is he just sort of like looking at this and like, yeah, we'll figure out the details later. I just want to include these particular characters here. Also, some of these are really deep cuts. Like, they're not like people that most of us know anything about.
I do have a list of most of them.
Okay.
I don't have every single one, but like, we know for sure at least like 85 to 90% of them.
Yeah. Okay. So we have an IGN article that also provides us some examples. The Watcher is standing by to give us what he thinks these characters are. And then, John, you have got ideas. So let's start from the left to right with the one that we have on screen here. Is is that a lady in pink or purple with the cards? Who is the
So
first character on the left?
so it's so the very first character, the one with the hood. It's now the article. I do think it's probably Madame Xanadu. However, my friend who is like a comic book encyclopedia also offered the character of Voodoo, who is a character from the Wildstorm universe, and they're trying to get an Authority movie off the ground, and the engineer is specifically a Wildstorm character, so it's entirely possible that maybe it
Frankie.
is that it is the character of Voodoo. So it could be Amethyst as well, but if I were to take a guess, is most likely Madame Xanadu, even though I don't think she's ever looked like that in the comics. But it's, she usually wears purple. It's like clearly a magician kind of like magic thing. So it definitely seems like Madame Xanadu, but I could also see lesser magic users that, that could be attributed to that character. But you can kind of see in the mural that the character has breasts, so it's clearly probably a woman. So well, men can have breasts, so
let's not be judgmental here.
Yes, so it's like, what, I'm just trying to be progressive, all encompassing. So it's most likely a woman, but obviously that's not the case. But it's most likely it's Madame Xanadu seems like the most likely case, but I could also see another lesser character that could be a deep cut. No, I don't think there's any right. I mean, they use the engineer in like Superman, so that was specifically a Wildstorm character, so whatever it is.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Who's the knight with the red?
This one is definitely 100% Silent Knight. Silent Knight is, there's a lot of different knight characters. There's another one that shows up later, but there's a lot of different knight characters, but this is one of them. Silent Knight. I understand the pun, but yeah, he's again deep cut. I didn't even know like who this guy was, because again, it's very, very, very deep cut. Very old character, came up in the 50s, not very well known. But it seems like that's the case here. Is that character. So, but I mean, there's other also like knight characters, but this seems like the most obvious one that it is Silent Knight. And the character is named Brian Kent, so it's entirely possible that he is like an ancestor of the Kents. So that could also, I don't think that's like for sure, like 100%. But yeah, he's essentially just like a very good knight. That is essentially his character.
Nice. All right. Okay. Is there a Santa Claus in the DCU? I don't know. That's a good question.
Yes, there is a Santa Claus in the DCU because every single year he's so powerful he manages to get through all of Apocalypse's forces to deliver Darkseid a piece of coal every year.
In the DCU or in the comics?
Well, in the DC comics, but I would like to, that's my headcanon. It's in the DCU as well. So
all right. So who are we talking about now in the middle there? That looks like an Amazonian.
Yes, it is. That's like kind of the rougher edge character because we don't know that there's a character. It seems like a combination of like a whole different mess of characters. Now, if you go back to the mural image, this character, she's in green and she's holding like a hammer of some kind or like an axe. Now, it could be a younger Hippolyta that like showed up. It could be like Wonder Woman, like maybe older Wonder Woman. She came in and then she left again and then eventually came back to the DCU into man's world, so we'll see if that's the case. It could also be the only other character that has like a weapon that's close to that is Artemis of Bana Migdal, who is like, but she's usually a red-haired character and she usually wears like red. So I'm not really familiar with any Amazonians that wear green. I don't think Nubia. Well, obviously she's black, so she doesn't wear green either. So maybe it's like a lesser known Amazonian character. Maybe it's Wonder Woman, and she's like, I don't like the green. I'm gonna go with red next time. So it could be or it could be just like a combination of characters, or it's just a generic Amazonian, and she left before Wonder Woman did, but then maybe she got killed, maybe she failed or went back to Themyscira. I don't know, but I feel like this character is kind of like generic Amazon, but if they want to make it Wonder Woman, they can make it Wonder Woman like eventually. But okay, so what the Watcher is saying, and I trust you, the Watcher, she's Exoristos, the exiled Amazon. So I'm not familiar with that character. Yeah.
Steven calling you out.
What? I'm not sleepy. What are you talking about?
It's a Friday, man. Calm down.
Hold on. Exoristos. I know it's I mean, considering she's wearing green, it's unlikely it's Diana, but hold on. Exoristos.
She almost looks like a character straight out of the Masters of the Universe, doesn't she?
A little bit.
To me, yeah.
Exoristos. Yes, it okay, so hold on. I have the let me just bring up the thing right here.
No, I'm not eating chips. I'm eating beef jerky.
So the character looks quite similar to, hold on, let me bring up my I mean, she's very similar, but except she's wearing brown instead of green. So, it's like I could kind of see it. Like it's just like the way that the design is and the gauntlets and all of that.
The breastplate looks similar. That's what you're going.
I was trying to avoid breast because you always call me a pervert.
No,
anyway, so
no, I'm not. I never said that. I've never said that.
But outside of the green, so it looks like, and thank you, the Watcher, that we do have the first in terms of unknown, because it was even unknown in the article. It just said Amazon Warrior. So, and it's IGN. Like, I mean, that's kind of obvious.
I mean, it could still be anybody. Like, I think
it could be anybody, but it seems like, but she was exiled.
Yeah.
And she wandered around the world for several years. So that makes, sorry, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it. And so it definitely seems the case here. I can see it because, like, again, the costume looks very similar, with the exception it's green instead of brown. So,
okay,
yeah. But
there's some good beef jerky. Let's keep going.
In terms of the next person we have, again, this is 100% confirmation because he looks exactly like the character, is Black Pirate. Black Pirate, very much a deep cut character, but yeah, he's just the guy with the sword, essentially. I think it says, yep, there he is.
Oh, sorry.
16th century hero John Valor. He's Zorro-esque as well. So yeah, Black Pirate is our next character who was part of the mural. But yeah, another, again, because like once the mural was like once we get to the second mural, I pretty much knew all of those characters. I didn't know fucking any of these characters, especially Exoristos, because that's definitely a new character. Yeah. So
it also seems like they're transitioning between eras and times. So
yes,
they all didn't exist at the same time. All right, so who's the lady on the horse?
Now, this, I have no idea. I have two guesses. My friend had two guesses as well. But the lady on the horse, maybe the Watcher knows. But for right now, until he gives us an answer, one of the guesses, my friend guessed that it was maybe Uncle Sam, like a female version of Uncle Sam from the comics, who is essentially the fighting spirit of America. Like, he exists as sort of like a different astral plane. And he's essentially, once the spirit of America dies, he dies too, and then once it gets resurrected, he has like all this like grab bag of powers. So yeah, it could be that, but he's usually a guy, so, and he looks like, the traditional "I want you," like Uncle Sam like character. But to be fair, Uncle Sam has like, that character has changed over the course of the centuries, so it's entirely possible that during this time it was a woman. But it could yeah, no, neither is Shining Knight, or sorry, Silent Knight. Silent Knight, he doesn't have superpowers either. He's just a guy. He's a really good swordsman and all that stuff. So this character, I have no idea. Uncle okay, Miss Liberty. Because I was like, maybe it's Lamplighter, because that Lamplighter is like an old Green Lantern villain. So I was like, all right, sure. But
we can just ask James Gunn, I guess. There we go. Okay, but what about that?
That's
the next character here looks like almost like a Flash to me. I immediately could tell that was like a Flash.
So
he's on he's kneeling down, ready to sprint away.
Yeah, here's the thing. My theory is that it's an early version of Max Mercury. We see Max Mercury later, spoiler alert, but my guess is that this is an earlier version of Max Mercury, because he's the only other old school speedster. Like literally, he was like a Native American shaman gave him his superpowers. So, and this was like during like the revolution, the Civil War. So that's when he got his powers, and we're kind of at that time of like Revolutionary War, Civil War kind of stuff. So I imagine that he's like from that time. So that's what I'm guessing, is that it's
okay. All right. And then the next guy with the mask, that almost looks a little bit Peacemaker-esque to me from season 1.
Okay.
Is that
also I wanted to just throw this up here, but yes, here it is, Miss Liberty. Not saying I don't say, not saying I don't agree with you. I'm just saying, yes, confirmation here, Miss Liberty, almost exactly. So thank you for that. The Watcher is always watching in the proper places.
The lore time, as he calls it. All right. Well, the next one looks like they're saying in IGN it's a super chief. Like,
yes.
What's the origin of what's Super Chief all about?
Super Chief is apparently Native American character who I think he has like what it says right here. Costume identity. The original was a Wolf Clan warrior named Flying Stag. All versions of Super Chief have super strength and extended lifespan. I don't know this character. Like, I didn't know who the fuck he was until my friend told me it was Super Chief. So yeah, knew nothing about this character. Apache Chief. I don't know Apache Chief either. But guys, I swear I know comics. I just don't know any of these super deep cut characters. It's just like, these are super deep cuts. So like, I swear I know shit, guys. I swear. But
all right, who's the next? I mean, he looks like another Zorro-esque character on the horse.
I just said Zorro because like he looks exactly like fucking Zorro. It could be the original El Diablo as well, because the El Diablo in Suicide Squad, that was like the second or third version. Meanwhile, the original El Diablo was like a guy in like a mask and suit, kind of like how this guy's dressed. But yeah, like would love to see a Native American character. Like that would be yes. That is true. Yes, back when people didn't go up in arms about diversity. Remember that? Anyway, but yes, I do remember Apache Chief from Super Friends. Yes, I just totally like forgot about that. But yeah, in terms of this guy right here,
the green Zorro we're talking about.
Green doesn't look green to me, but yes, that is
I'm gonna get that too, actually. Good reminder, Stephen.
But we'll see what the Watcher says. But I just have Zorro. I literally just wrote down Zorro. But until the Watcher, tells us.
Well, we'll wait. But like, it's also the next guy is kind of like the fisticuffs ready to go. he doesn't look like a metahuman. I mean, who is that guy?
It could be Iron Monroe, which was a retcon character. Like he existed just to retcon stuff. I think he exists to retcon the Golden Age Superman. I think that's what it was, because like they were trying to fold in all of their history into one universe, and obviously you can't have the Golden Age Superman exist when they have this new universe set up. So they just inserted another character, which was called Iron Monroe, and he's kind of like a pretty, stripped down character, but he has essentially the same, the same like vibe of like Golden Age Superman, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
So
okay. All right.
but
So now we're gonna let's keep on moving. So
yes. Now I
now
pretty
we're
much
getting
know
into
all of these guys except
Okay,
this motherfucker
so-
right here.
well, I don't know who you're talking about. Cause wait, we were talking about the guy with the red, white, and blue.
Yes,
And the
I
steel
have
helmet.
no clue who this is. However, the IGN article says Commander Steel. So maybe it's entirely possible Meteor, the Vandal Savage, it's in there. Now
Ooh, I think I have an option. Hold on, let me see. I think I've got something for you. This is from, I think, Screen Rant. They actually put their own list together. Ghost of Flanders. That
seems about right. Yeah, I mean that looks. Yeah, that's pretty much
the same.
Like James. What the fuck are these characters? What in the fuck? Because I was like the helmet. It kind of looks like Jay Garrick. Commander Steel. Like I don't fucking know.
Chuck Cage. I can't wait for a Question movie. We talked about it like last year. It would be so amazing. I think James Gunn will give us that eventually, and they can make it like a smaller, like budget movie. That would be amazing. By the way, quick sidebar. There was a meteor in the back of like the first mural. Do you think that's a Vandal Savage reference? Or
no, I said that.
Oh, you did. Okay, cool.
But I think what?
He said he's
but
5. I don't know what you mean by that, Chuck.
But it's just yeah, well, it's just like but he doesn't have the wings. It looks nothing like him, so it seems like it's this Ghost of Flanders character. Weird. But the next 3 are so fucking easy. Sandman, Amazing Man, Zatara. Like those were like bam, bam, bam. Got those immediately. So
there's a Sandman, which looks again very similar. Then you've got Amazing Man. Okay. All right. So those are easy references, and then you go to the Zatara. So wait. So this is not the Zatara. This is not Zatanna. This is Zatara.
Zatanna is his daughter. Zatara, Giovanni Zatara is her father.
Got it. Okay. All right. Let's keep going then. Now we get to the next set of characters.
The next fucking 5 here are 6. So easy. You have Liberty Bell next to the Liberty Bell. Pretty easy on that one. But I knew I knew of the character. She's related to the Golden Age Johnny Quick. I think it's his daughter, if I remember correctly. Then you have Bullet Man, Max Mercury in his more classic outfit rather than that outfit that I was talking about before. But hey, it might not be Max Mercury, but I think that is Max Mercury. And then Bullet Girl in front of Max Mercury, and then TNT and Dan the Dynamite. I was doing a lot of research on Golden Age heroes back in the day, so I know all these guys.
All right, so let's stop for a second and go through this one by one. So the first one was Liberty Bell on the far left. So descendant of Miss Liberty. So she's okay. So she was around World War II. So we're talking. This is the Golden Age heroes. The mother of Jesse Quick. Then you have Bullet Man and Bullet Girl. You mentioned. Wow, these are going back in time. Do you know a little bit more? Can you tell us a little bit more about who these 2 are?
I think they were part of like an experiment in like the 40s to get their powers, but then then he got the powers first, and then I think he married Susan Barr, and then she got powers. It might have been through the helmet. It might have been like an experimentation sort of thing. It's been a while been a while since I read anything in regard to this, but ha! I was right. Yeah, I was right. Yay, go me.
El Diablo.
So the original El
Yep.
Diablo is that Zorro character. Hell yeah.
But
I
dude,
got
this
it.
is great. Like the idea that we're getting all these like deep cuts means that James Gunn appreciates, understands, and then will probably bring us some of these characters for real, which is amazing to think about.
Although
That's-
he's
yeah.
saying it's Whip Whirlwind. So
Wait, who are we talking about in this case?
the Johnny Quick, or not Johnny Quick, Jay Garrick looking guy, then the guy next to Sandman. Where we thought it was Ghost
On the
of
left?
Flanders.
Wait,
Yeah.
on the left or the right?
Yeah.
On the left. Huh.
Hold on,
Because
let me bring up Whip Whirlwind.
I mean, there's so many of these, characters from the early days that have similar looks. Yeah, the first one, Madame Xanadu, we did talk about that. Yep. Yeah, James Gunn is a real comic book fan. I agree with you there. I mean, it seems like the character design here looks very similar to the Ghost of Flanders. So, another World War II era hero who operated from the crypt beneath the tomb of the unknown soldier, no less. Okay. So that's the speculation here for the character on the far left.
Okay, so no, I don't. Okay, so I think he meant. Sorry, I think I fucked up. He meant this guy. The guy next to Super Chief. I think yes, that guy's Whip Whirlwind. This guy is Ghost of Flanders, the guy on the left.
Okay,
Sorry.
so and we have a look at Whip Whirlwind right here. That's him. That makes sense.
So I was right. It was just Also, it's Max
before he took the name Max Mercury.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, it's Max Crandall, not Max Candrell. Way to go, Screen Rant.
Who's the guy without the shirt again?
I think it's Iron Monroe.
Let's go back to where was he? He's here on the far right. Let me see if I can find him. I think what we're gonna go with is I went too far back. Let me see. They're thinking it's the original strongman, Hugo Danner.
Okay. Could be. I mean, it might. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, he's without a shirt here, so that makes sense.
Close enough.
But
dude, yeah, they could make a video game out of these characters. That would be nice. All right. Blue Beetle Booster Gold team up needs to happen as a time travel buddy cop. Dude, yes. I would watch the shit out of that, Chuck. I really would. Yeah, they have actually put a lot of these on YouTube for free. The animated movies. Some of them are good. I don't enjoy all of them, but so who are both guys without shirts? Oh, so one Hugo Danner.
The guy with the buffalo head, that's Super Chief. The other guy is the original strongman, Hugo Danner.
Yep. So just again, future Chief. There you go. That's what he looks like in the comics. And then, here's what he looks like in the mural. All right, let's get back to the other mural, the one that we were just going through. So these are slightly more relatively recent ones. So we looked at Bullet Man, Bullet Girl. Who's the guy beneath them there?
That's Max Mercury. That's Quicksilver.
That's Max Mercury. Okay, so there are two Max Mercurys here. Again, that's the idea?
Yeah, I think but they might not know that it was two different guys, so why does he look like Jay fucking Leno here? God damn, that chin.
It's the chin. It's the chin.
Here comes the Crimson Chin.
So it looks like he was around for multiple. Too texy for my shirt. Yeah, he's been around for multiple time periods. Dave Bautista could be a cool Vandal Savage. Yeah. He's not a Minotaur, but yeah, sure. Good. This is a good theory. All right, let's keep on going. Actually, I'm going to the other mural. Sorry, switching around a bit. This is what we got left.
Yes. We have, so I said this before, that's the guys all the way on the left is TNT and Dan the Dynamite. And all the rest of these I know. So TNT and Dan the Dynamite, I think they were like
all right, so let's focus on those guys for a second. Right, so here's the backstory. Yep, chemistry teacher and his sidekick student who gain explosive powers following a unique chemical reaction. Together they fought Nazis and joined the Young All-Stars. Wow. They look like a Green Hornet duo to me. Quite
little bit.
frankly.
A little bit.
Like,
Sorry
Superman
about that.
versus the Elite. Oh, nice.
That's probably my favorite DC movie of all time, if I were to say so myself.
That's all good, M2G, by the way. We've been live for so long, and you can always finish the show after. We'll be on YouTube for perpetuity, as they would say. All right, so the next one over in the middle, with very scantily clad, is Phantom
the next
Lady?
three. The next three are pretty easy. Is Phantom Lady, Atomic Knight, and Freedom Beast.
So who is who's Phantom Lady? Give us
Phantom Lady was like she was going to be, as it says here, she was supposed to be supposed to be what Silk Spectre would become, because she was, a character from other comics that Alan Moore wanted to use for Watchmen, until they were like, you can't use these characters because we have plans for them. So he's like, I'm going to make original characters instead, and it turned out to be way better, because Rorschach was supposed to be the Question, Night Owl was supposed to be Blue Beetle, Ozymandias was supposed to be Peterbolt Thunderbolt, I think it was Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, and then
not wrong,
others
enterprising
as well.
But
then there's Atomic Knight.
All right, let's take a look at who Atomic Knight is. Let's give us a bit more about who is Atomic Knight.
Gardner Grail. He's from a dark future, which is kind of portrayed in the mural. You kind of see a kind of a dilapidated radioactive thing, but that might be they might make it so that happened in the past, and like they recovered, and there's
kind of like almost like a Terminator-esque story. Like he comes
kind of,
back
but it's like he's a knight, but like uses a gun.
Mm.
So like that's kind of, so he's like kind of knight-esque, but not really.
But he's from the future, so he uses a gun. He doesn't bring a sword to a gunfight.
And then Freedom Beast, the guy on top. He is the successor to B'wana Beast. But yes, Dominic Mindway is Mindaw is Freedom Beast. But yeah, B'wana Beast was his predecessor, but he was like a white guy. So like, no, let's not do that. Let's have like this guy that's associated with Africa. Let's have it actually be a black guy.
That makes sense. Diversity, people. And then is that a cheetah at the bottom?
No, it's just like I think it just takes place in like Africa. So it's just like, it's just a random like animal, because he's like associated with animals.
Cool. Like Enterprising said. All right. Well, I mean, we got all the. Quick question from Chuck Cage: what do you guys think of a supposed written Mad Love, Joker and Harley horror-centric film?
Putting it in the trash.
Isn't that one of the different ideas that Margot Robbie had running?
Yeah, and then Zach Krieger submitted something, and I'm like, nah, fam, get that the fuck out of here.
Okay. So just to quickly wrap this up, because there's so many characters here. Obviously, there's a few more on the last slide.
And these four.
Give us the skinny on these.
You have Wildcat, Vibe, Gunfire, and then Maxwell Lord. Those are the rest of them.
So who's Wildcat? Who's Gun? Give us a quick.
So Wildcat is essentially just a guy in a cat suit who could just punch things. Like he's just like the he was in Stargirl for a little bit. The Hispanic girl, I'm blanking on her name, but she was his successor. And then Vibe, who famously the Cisco in The Flash, he played him, a version of him. The original version was like this breakdancing dude who had like sonic waves, and then because very 80s, so like, let's have a breakdancing guy because we're in it with the kids. Yes, Wildcat trained Black Canary. And then Gunfire, very 90s. Just like look at all the pockets.
It looks like Cyclops. It practically looks like Cyclops. The headgear and the
although
the
it looks like a long hair, almost looks like a woman, but like just the pockets and the bandoliers, just all that everywhere. It's so 90s. It's just it's essentially like a Punisher-esque character where it's just like, I use guns.
And I love how on the far right you have Maxwell Lord with that atomic logo. which is interesting. I wonder what that means, like in terms of like where
I mean,
Maxwell
Maxwell Lord has had powers in the comics, so
yeah, that'd be interesting. Need a breakdancing vibe. Gunn just gets it. Man. Yeah.
telepathic persuasion is what his power is.
Okay, so that logo then kind of. So do we think that Maxwell Lord does have telepathic powers in this universe? That would be interesting.
Possibly.
Holy shit! Okay, that's news. That's not been hinted at all. Okay. All right. Well, John, I did want to ask you, which of these characters, if any, would you like to see in any
Wildcat? I want to see Wildcat so fucking badly. Like, he wasn't a part of
TV show or
Stargirl
movie?
because for obvious reasons, but I want to see Wildcat. Though they teased him in Green Arrow, he showed up for 2 seconds, got yeeted, and then he was outed of the show. Then they couldn't really be in Stargirl that much because it was only like flashbacks and shit like that. And then
who are you talking about, Watcher? Who's Dr. Fate? Dr. Date? I don't know if there was a Dr. Fate. I don't know if Watcher, are you behind on the stream? I can't tell if you're referring to. We're talking about Wildcat right now. Oh, you're talking about. Oh, Watcher talking about Maxwell Lord looking character. It's not Maxwell Lord. It's Dr. Fate.
No. That's clearly Maxwell Lord. Like it's pretty much all but confirmed. It's Maxwell Lord.
Yeah. Okay. So you want a Wildcat? Okay. So then another way to state the question would be: which of these characters do you think James Gunn would put in a TV show or movie?
Oh, probably one of the more recent. Well, I mean, technically Maxwell Lord. He's in Peacemaker.
That's true. That's true. Touche.
So, I mean, I didn't know a lot of these characters. Like, I didn't know fucking Ghost of Flanders. Like, the fuck?
So. I mean, but now we do, right? I just called Swag Fan Swan Fan. I'm sorry, Swag Fan. I meant to call you Swag Fan, which is your name.
You're tired. Anyway, it's 1 in the morning, so.
John is finally getting tired, Steven, and as am I. But
no, you're tired. I'm not gonna go for bed for another 2 hours. So
fine, touche. Okay, your final thoughts. What does this metahuman mural actually mean? Is it just there for decorative purposes? Like, is this meant to be canon? Like, how literally are we gonna take all of this? Like, does this mean all of these characters existed in the history of the DCU? Like, how many of them were in the Justice Society? I'm just wondering, like, what the possibilities are here.
A lot of possibilities.
Like, were they ever on the same team? I mean, it's also the Hall of Justice, right? So does this mean the Hall of Justice is meant to be like the common thread amongst all these characters? Like, it's been around?
Like, here's the thing. I kind of view it like this. Like, this guy's very 90s. This guy's very 80s. So, you know, it could mean like the decades like 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s. All these guys are maybe like 40s and 30s. Maybe like 90s and then 80s and then, you know, 70s.
Like, what's the oldest character in here? Like, the oldest character is it from the
technically the oldest character is Max Mercury because it goes back to the 1700s.
Oh, so that's how the 300-year thing gets explained. Okay.
Yeah, but like in terms of like technically oldest would be probably the Amazonian character, the exorcist bitch. What I don't know what her fucking Exoristos, whatever the fuck it was. But yeah.
I mean,
I would hope so. I would hope so.
Yeah. Who's the pirate character?
Black Pirate.
I don't know. Black Pirate. Okay. Got it. Cool. Yeah. We can see so many possibilities, but there you go. I mean, hey, you're welcome to dig in on these characters yourself. They could still change up who characters are meant to be, but I really love that James Gunn clearly not only knows his comic book history, but he's got Drew Goddard, Tom King, Mark Waid, all these other writers from the comics, Jim Lee, who is still, you know, the head of DC Comics right now. They're all out there, like not out there, but like within James Gunn's, you know, writer's room, if you want to call it. What would you call that? Like, he's got his own brain trust over at
universe
DC.
Room.
Yeah, and clearly James Gunn himself is a big nerd. Like, if he can bring back like a polka dot man into a Suicide Squad movie, This is only the beginning, guys. So I'm excited. Let us know in the comments down below which of those characters would you like to see in a project, whether it's a movie, TV series, miniseries, whatever. Would you like them to be in a JSA movie? Can we do more time travel stuff? Do any of these characters mean there's other characters that might also exist, as in reference to the ones that we have already seen in the mural? I mean, this is just amazing. Like, it's at the very least, it gets people interested in the comics. Like, can you imagine any one of these characters? People can go and pick up their comics now because like they just saw it in the movie. So I just love it. Exactly. I mean, Elite EZ, I agree with you there. So much love for DC. All of them and more. Nico wants them all. Well, like Pokemon, hopefully James Gunn will let us catch them all one day at a time. But John, with that, I think we have come to the end of the show. Or do we have any comments? I know it's a Friday
Yeah,
show.
we have a couple. Two from Kyle,
Okay.
actually, but I did
All
want to
right,
talk
well then
about
hold on a
just-
second, guys. We have a Q&A session.
Yes. Just quick, just Kyle being a great commenter. Make sure to comment if you're watching after we go live. Make sure to comment so we can like notice you, the people who can never seem to catch us live.
Maybe
just
maybe there's a Hall of Injustice that has its own set of murals. Nico, that would be interesting. So
yeah. So Kyle was talking about seeing Superman. He was saying seeing Superman for the second time was actually a better experience. Love seeing the CGI footage. And not done in dark settings, and loved watching it without judgment. So yeah, I think
Superman did not hide any bad CGI in the dark, and there were rarely any sequences where the CGI looked bad. So absolutely agree with you there.
Yeah.
Hey, we're on late enough that George is here. Hey George, what's up, man? How's your breakfast? Across the pond.
Yeah. But then the only other one we have is also from Kyle. Again, guys, make sure you're commenting after the fact. But when I was going on my kind of side rant about how Jerry Trainer would be perfect as Plastic Man, Kyle agreed. So I'm just saying, I'm getting more people turned on the idea of Jerry Trainer being Plastic Man. I'm just saying, dude's still in pretty good shape. I think it would work. Give us
James Gunn has already teased it multiple times, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it. I would not be surprised.
So give us Jerry Trainer as Plastic Man, please. That would be wonderful.
Dora, you have the map. I just remember from
you have the map, not me. Perfect. Cock-a-doodle-doo, the cow goes moo. Yeah.
Oh God, I love Drake and Josh deep cut references. This is
all
great.
Right. So
damn, dude. Wow.
M2G, The Watcher, and George, they be watching it. They be watching.
I think we need to start a list of everybody who has seen it the most amount of times. George and M2G and Watcher leading the pack right now. Can anybody beat them to it 7 or 8 times? Well, look, we have a new movie out in theaters right now, Fantastic Four, but Superman is still here to stay. And yeah, George, I mean, you guys are all hopefully going to be able to watch Superman a few more times before it comes out on Blu-ray and digital in August and September. But hey, that does it for now, right? I think that's all the comments we had. Guys, we're going to go and check out Fantastic Four another time. I know I'm going to see it for the first time. John has already seen it. His out-of-theater reaction is going to be on our social channels soon. So do check out Also Curious across, I think we are on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, X, and obviously YouTube. Liz's reaction is out there. So if you want to know what Liz thought about Fantastic Four, if you missed yesterday's show, check her reaction out on our channels. And also, we're going to be back on Monday. We're going to give you guys a full spoiler review for Fantastic Four. You can bring in all of your spoiler chat comments and thoughts and questions and theories. Until then, of course, we have Peacemaker tomorrow at Hall H to look forward to. All the announcements coming from there. Season 2, James Gunn probably going to give us a million different nuggets of information to talk about on Monday, whether it's Batman, Superman, the next movie he's working on. That's something I'm looking forward to if he gets asked about it. But until then, guys, have a great weekend. Steven, we will miss you just as much as you miss us. But don't you worry. We'll be back with you on Monday. And George, we're going to keep saving up your comments. Sorry we are just heading out as you're coming in, but be sure, be sure to rewind. Be kind and rewind. And until the next show, everybody, be a punk rocker. And as Enterprising is telling you, don't forget to look up.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka!